He clearly has a 10 billion fortune. Yet he's still focused on trying to please that sister who just moved from the countryside. Because before he could spend his money, he accidentally transmigrated into a novel as the evil supporting character. And this sister from the countryside is actually a master of disguise. He was originally reading a novel leisurely at home, accidentally discovered a character in a novel with exactly the same name as his. Driven by curiosity, he decided to read it carefully. It mainly tells about true and false young ladies being switched for decades, the real young lady's powerful return, the evil fake young lady losing her position and repeatedly plotting against the female lead. Sister Gu Jing is the true young lady with a tragic fate, who returns powerfully wearing multiple disguises, defeating everyone in her path. Sister Gu Yang is the fake young lady with a honey-coated mouth but venomous heart. Evil deeds lead to evil consequences. She not only loses everything, but also has her finger cut off by the villain boss and dies miserably by the roadside. There's also a noble lady supporting character who serves as a human blood bank, suffering torture since childhood, growing up to become the villain's accomplice, with a twisted mind, cruel and obsessive. He couldn't help but comment, tisk tsk tsk tsk, true and false young ladies, cuckoo in the nest, crazy villains, all kinds of dramatic plot devices stacked up. But he's down to earth. He loves watching this kind of evil gets evil storyline. It's really thrilling. It's just frustrating that the person sharing his name is the doomed fake young lady. At this moment, his lawyer called, telling him his father had made a will, and the 10 billion assets would be inherited by him as the eldest daughter. His eyes widened instantly upon hearing this, but because he was too excited, he choked on what he was eating. Coughing made him dizzy. He thought, surely he wouldn't choke to death right after inheriting such wealth. How embarrassing. He finally fainted. After an unknown time, he woke up amidst noisy arguments. He looked around confusedly at everything. He heard a middle-aged woman angrily scolding. You knew Yang Yang has hemophilia. Even a small bump would cause non-stop bleeding, yet you deliberately pushed him down the stairs. He suddenly remembered lying in bed that he had just inherited vast wealth, muttering 10 billion. But because he got up too quickly, he felt dizzy. The middle-aged woman worriedly said, Yang Yang, are you all right? Don't scare mommy. He steadied himself and glanced to the side, found a young man sitting by his bed. Looking carefully, his features were beautiful. The young man suddenly turned his head towards him with displeasure, his face full of infatuation. He sighed, who is he? So handsome. The middle-aged woman thought he was talking nonsense due to head injury and immediately called a doctor to examine him. He really wanted to know where this place was and who these people were. Finally, he thought of the novel plot he had just read. Memories kept flooding into his mind. In the memories, he stood at the stairs blocking his sister, sneering at her. Must be tiring acting in front of mom, but you won't need to act anymore. Sister, displeased, ordered him to move aside. He sneered, a country bumpkin like you doesn't deserve to be with me. So I thought of a good way to help you roll back where you came from. Sister couldn't be bothered to argue, and again ordered him to move. He refused and instead leaned close to Sister's ear and whispered, guess what? What would happen to you if mom finds out you pushed me down the stairs? His foot slipped. He deliberately stepped back, then unhesitatingly fell down the stairs. Mom, who was walking by, saw this scene and anxiously rushed over, shouting his name. He inevitably fainted from the fall. Remembering this, he woke up startled. He heard the doctor's instructions. Miss Gu Yang has no serious injuries, just a mild concussion. She needs to rest for a while. The middle-aged woman was very angry, yelling, Gu Jing, if it weren't for the doctor and Feng Jun, Yang Yang would have been dead because of you. He carefully sorted through his thoughts about Gu Yang. Gu Jing has hemophilia, and this person before him is the one with many disguises. The true young lady boss Gu Jing with many followers. He finally realized he had transmigrated into the novel, and as the evil supporting character, immediately offending both the true female lead and the future villain. He felt doomed. He desperately wanted to go back to his 10 billion. One is the disguised but falsely accused female lead. The other is the villain who will cut off his fingers. Might as well give up. He can't handle this starting point. Just as he was thinking of giving up, the middle-aged woman, now his mother, spoke again. Gu Jin, I'm telling you, if anything happens to Yang Yang today, you'll go straight back to your countryside orphanage. She instinctively looked at her sister, who carelessly said she didn't push him. Mom, seeing sister's attitude, became angrier, convinced it was sister who pushed him, scolding loudly, "You're still denying it. Gu Jin, don't think coming back means you'll have an easy life. Yang Yang is the only true young lady of the Gu family." He quickly stopped Mom. Smiling, he explained that sister didn't push him, he just missed his step and fell by himself. He didn't want to let Mom continue, otherwise his face would be slapped crooked later. He needed to quickly fix relationships, cling to powerful allies, and absolutely avoid repeating the tragic ending from the book. But sister just gave him a disdainful look. Mom also didn't stop blaming sister. He hadn't expected sister's reaction, wondering if he was being seen as a white lotus. So he got out of bed, asked Mom and sister to sit down, and slowly explained there must be a misunderstanding. Mom raised her voice at sister. "Now Yang Yang is even making excuses for you. Can't you act like a proper sister?" Sister, suppressing her anger, explained, "I've said it before, I didn't push him." Seeing this, Mom became even angrier, thinking sister was still making excuses. He was speechless. Could this birth mother stop talking? What good would come from offending the disguise master? At this point, the doctor couldn't help but speak up, reminding everyone there were security cameras in the house. They could check those. He almost forgot this doctor was the boss's follower. The truth would come out soon. He felt anxious. Mom insisted she saw it with her own eyes, saying what difference would checking cameras make? Send her to jail. Sister didn't speak, just coldly smiled. He felt he was doomed. The boss had been recording with her phone. He knew from the novel. He wanted to try salvaging the situation one more time. So he gathered his courage and confirmed to Mom again that he really did slip and fall by himself, asking her not to wrongly accuse sister. His relationship with the disguise master couldn't get any worse. He would die miserably. Mom still seemed unconvinced. He continued, saying it was all true. Sister's phone was recording at the time. They could check the video on her phone if they didn't believe him. Sister, who was looking at her phone, paused, not understanding why he would do this knowing she was recording. Hearing all this, Mom finally stopped pursuing the matter, just warning sister not to let it happen again. Crisis averted, he finally breathed a sigh of relief, turned his head to find sister watching him. He called out, "Take care, sister," in a pleasing manner. Suddenly, a servant brought Feng Ju over, saying if there's nothing else, they would take Feng Ju out. He asked confusedly, "Where to?" The servant reminded, "Miss, don't you remember? You ordered young Master Feng Ju not to stay in the house." He remembered now. Because he broke the original owner's skincare products, in anger, she made Feng Ju go live in the flower room. Isn't this the perfect chance to gain favor with the villain? So he smiled and said that last time was just angry talk. Ju is still my brother after all. How could he live in the flower room? Let him return to his room. Seeing him relent, the servant was very happy. Feng Ju just coldly said in a deep voice, "Thank you, sister." He stroked Feng Ju's head, smiling and saying, "Go on now. You can rest well tonight." Then he turned and went to his own room. Feng Ju watched his retreating figure thoughtfully, silently pondering, "Gu Yao, what kind of torture are you planning for me this time?" Despite having assets worth billions, he couldn't spend a single penny, all because he suddenly transmigrated into a White Lotus young lady. He was depressed. His 10 billion in assets were now out of reach before he could even start spending them. Looking at his unfamiliar appearance in the mirror, he was speechless, couldn't help but mock, truly worthy of being the evil supporting character. Even the hair is such an eye-catching pink, though this evil supporting character is quite pretty and shares his style. But thinking again, what use is that? She was once a top family's young lady. Her psychological therapy business was just starting to show promise, finally becoming a psychologist. Yet she encountered this transmigration, becoming an evil supporting character who did terrible things. Who knows if she can return to the original world? If she really can't go back, at least she needs to live well now. But come to think of it, if he suddenly died, would those 10 billion go to the illegitimate child? Lost in thought, he fell into a deep sleep. Early the next morning, he was awakened by a phone message. His cousin sent a message saying she'd come over to help him slap Gu Jing's face. He was instantly startled awake, not understanding why these people were thinking about harming the boss so early in the morning. Can't they just be quiet? He hurriedly got ready and went downstairs to the living room. Everyone warmly greeted him when they saw him arrive. Cousin came over smiling, saying loudly, "We were just talking about that young woman in your family. That white-eyed wolf actually pushed you down the stairs. In my opinion, this is attempted murder. She should be sent to prison. He remembered. This cousin is the Rwan family's second daughter, an artist at the Gu family entertainment company. To gain resources, she often sucked up to Yuan Shun, and together they did many bad things. So he deliberately raised his voice. Cousin Ruan Yin, why are you calling me a white-eyed wolf? Cousin quickly explained she wasn't insulting him, but that adopted daughter. He stated directly, you just said the Gu family's adopted daughter is a white-eyed wolf. But Sister Gu Jin is Gu family's true daughter. I'm the adopted one. Hearing this, Mom scolded from the side. Yang, what nonsense are you talking about? Did Gu Jin force you to say this? He felt this mother was way too biased. So he went forward, held Mom's hand, and seriously said, Mom, I've thought about this for a long time. I feel this is unfair to Sister. I've enjoyed the Gu family's privileged life and your love in place of my sister. But Sister suffered for so many years. We should properly compensate her, not let her suffer after coming home. Mom was moved by her words, while Cousin secretly sneered, remembering how she used to look down on her as an illegitimate child. But now it turns out she's not even that. So she deliberately asked, pretending not to understand, Cousin, what's all this about? What fake daughter? Taking someone else's nest? I don't understand. Sister, who had been coldly observing, finally spoke. Perhaps because you're stupid. Cousin angrily shouted, what do you mean? A country bumpkin dares to be so arrogant? If the Gu family really valued you, they would have announced your identity long ago. Seeing this, he directly mocked, Cousin Ruan Yin, how come you don't understand anything? You really should study more. After speaking, he winked at his sister. Sister just smiled faintly without responding to him. Mom, worried about people gossiping about him, immediately promised, no matter what, Yang, you're still our Gu family's daughter. Your father and I will handle this matter. Don't worry about it. Seeing he was still favored, Cousin started plotting again. She took out a gift and said warmly, oh right, Cousin, I heard that the skincare set I gave you last time was broken by that little beast. I specially brought another set this time. He smiled and expressed thanks. Cousin continued, Yang, I heard Uncle recently invested in Wine Talk and invited Jingdi. I'm Jingdi's fan, but haven't had the chance to meet him since entering the industry. He consoled, it's okay, Cousin Ruan Yin. It's normal you can't meet Jingdi. After all, your status isn't high enough. Hearing this, Cousin couldn't hold back anymore. Just as she was about to question him, he interrupted her, saying he needed to practice piano in the music room. If there's nothing else, please leave, he said, standing up from his seat, not caring how ugly Cousin's face looked. After arriving at the music room, he began practicing seriously. While immersed in the beautiful music, suddenly a hand reached out and pressed his piano keys. He was surprised. Why was the boss here? It was quite startling. Then he heard Sister ask from behind, why? He replied, Sister, you mean why did I reveal the identity? Perhaps falling down corrected my values. Sister reached out her hand again, asking him to give her that skincare set. He just froze, saying nothing. Sister sneered. What? You're unwilling to give me even a skincare set, but willing to give me the Gu family daughter's identity? He countered, Sister, you notice there's something wrong with this skincare set, right? Sister didn't speak, just walked to the window and opened the curtains. After a moment, she said, weren't you going to practice piano? Go ahead. Seeing Sister's reaction, he knew he guessed right. He knew the skincare products were problematic because he remembered the novel's plot, while the boss could tell they were problematic even through the packaging. For the rest of the time, Sister quietly listened to him practice piano. She remembered in the novel, the boss never bothered to ask Yuan Shun for the skincare products she sent, so her remedial measures must have worked. After some time, Sister suddenly opened her eyes. Realizing she had fallen asleep, Sister was surprised. It had been a long time since she'd slept so peacefully. Could it be because of his piano playing? As she was pondering this, Sister suddenly noticed he was right beside her and was startled, asking puzzledly, why are you here? He smiled and said, I've been here watching over Sister while she slept. Sister, how was my playing? Sister wordlessly pushed him away. She coldly said, practice more, and left the music room without looking back. He remembered the original character played piano well, thinking perhaps his playing was so bad it made the boss go silent. So he secretly encouraged himself to practice hard and play this cannon fodder role well. The next day, while he was sleeping soundly, his phone rang. As soon as he answered, the voice on the other end demanded, Guya, what's this about the real and fake daughter trending online? Don't play dumb with me. You foreign girl dare to deceive me? My mother has already gone to discuss our engagement with your mother. You better explain clearly. Before the other side could continue rambling, he simply tossed the phone aside, preparing to go back to sleep. As he lay there, he thought about the trending topic of real and fake daughters mentioned in the call. He had always cared about face, but when suddenly learning about his scandalous background trending online, he wasn't upset at all. Instead, he curiously picked up his phone to read about his own drama. Only because he had just transmigrated into the book and didn't care much about his current identity. He noticed one of the trending topics mentioned the Shui family's young master. Then he remembered the call he just hung up was from the original character's fiancé. In the novel, the Shui and Gu families had arranged a childhood engagement. After Yuan Shun learned she was a fake daughter, she was rejected but desperately tried to marry Shui Duo. She even sold the Gu family's business secrets. The Gu family was taken over by the Shui family, and she successfully married into the Shui family. However, the good times didn't last long. The Shui family found her useless and quickly abandoned her. Then she was revenge killed by the novel's villain, who cut off her index finger before her tragic death. He thought he absolutely couldn't get involved with this scumbag. Just then, a message came. It was from Shui Duo, complaining about him hanging up and reminding him not to play hard to get too much. The engagement wasn't over, and if he wasn't worried, neither was Shui Duo. He couldn't be bothered to reply, thinking this man was sick. Suddenly, there was a sound of something breaking in the living room. He quickly went to ask Mom what happened. Mom angrily said the Shui family saw the trending topics and called to break off the engagement, wanting to change the engagement to Gujin instead. She ordered the servants, "Go find Gujin. I want to ask her how dare she steal her own sister's fiancé." Seeing this, he was worried. These plot points were coming one after another, not giving anyone a chance to breathe. He reminded Mom not to harm her health with anger, and that the Shui family proposed breaking the engagement, so how was it sister's fault? Mom helplessly said, "You're disgraced and she's marrying into the Shui family. Who else could it be?" He wanted to say the boss wouldn't care about stealing Shui Duo. Besides, this novel world's mom shouldn't be so biased. So he explained to Mom with a smile, "What's trending is all true. It's not really a disgrace. Besides, sister just came back and doesn't even know about the Gu and Shui family's marriage alliance. How could she plot to steal the engagement?" Seeing Mom's silence, he knew she was listening, so he continued. "Mom must have had PR department try to remove the trending topic, but it's still at the top. Could sister have done that? That would be impossible, right?" Mom thought he made sense, but if not Gujin, then who? Seeing the timing was right, he began his act. Pretending to guess, he said Mom actually knew about this, but cousin wasn't that kind of person. Maybe she was overthinking it. Mom suddenly realized and angrily cursed. That illegitimate daughter Wan Yin. What wouldn't she do? You rejected her yesterday. She must be taking revenge. Let's go confront her now. He quickly stopped Mom, saying there was no use going now. Mom didn't understand his meaning. He added, "I mean, why don't we wait for Dad to return and discuss this? Besides, cousin Ruanyan probably just leaked it accidentally. She's still very nice to me. When the Duke ruined the skincare products she gave me, she sent me another set. Look, Mom, my skin has become whiter and smoother after using it." Hearing this, Mom quickly noticed something wrong and alertly said, "How could it work so fast? Yang, that skincare set might be problematic. I'll have someone check it right now," Mom said angrily as she prepared to leave. But after a few steps, she suddenly stopped. Then she turned back to hug him, saying softly with concern, Yang, it's Mom's fault for not protecting you well, letting you get cyberbullied and lose the engagement with the Shui family." He felt touched experiencing being cared for the first time. Though Mom was biased, she was indeed a good mother. He secretly vowed to protect the Gu family this time. After Mom left, he let out a sigh of relief. He wanted to say, why does every day involve face slapping? Isn't the boss tired of these plot developments? But following the storyline, he felt like there was something else to do today. Lying down, he had a flash of someone being beaten up. He remembered. He needed to go save the blood bag who was getting beaten up. He quickly changed into comfortable clothes and rushed out. He needed to hurry to gain the blood bag's favor. But because he was running too fast, when passing by a swaying pedestrian, the person suddenly collapsed. His first thought was it might be a scam. Instantly, passing pedestrians looked at him strangely and started pointing fingers without knowing the situation. He was speechless. These onlookers gathered too quickly, but he decided to check the situation first. He found it was actually cardiac arrest. He immediately called for people around to dial 120 and asked the crowd to step back for better air circulation. He needed to perform CPR, but no one believed him, thinking he was just putting on an act. Just then, a masked youth spoke up for him. I saw everything. He didn't hit anyone. He's trying to help. After that, another man came to help with the rescue. Finally, the ambulance arrived. The medical staff checked the patient's symptoms. They said fortunately the golden 4-minute rescue window wasn't wasted, praising their CPR technique. The man who helped also praised him, saying his first aid was standard and his chest compression posture was perfect. He smiled and said, "Thanks to your cooperation too. You must be a doctor?" The man then introduced himself. "I'm Jing Minghui, director of Jinsheng Mental Hospital." He also gave his name. Suddenly, he noticed the youth who spoke up for him was still there and quickly thanked him with a smile. The youth shyly replied, "I just told the truth. Didn't help much." He checked the time on his phone and realized things were bad. The blood bag had been beaten for a while, so he hurriedly waved goodbye to the youth. Meanwhile, Feng Ju was cornered by a group of people, covered in injuries. One of them mocked, "Kid, you dare reject our young miss? Tired of living?" Another person sneered, "Why waste words on him? Let's teach him a lesson first, then take him to serve the young miss." When he arrived, he heard this and displeasedly called out, "Who does your young miss think she is, daring to steal my person?" Knowing these fighting men were not to be messed with, yet still walking right into trouble without bringing backup. But that's because he himself was trained. Seeing he was alone, they didn't take him seriously. Someone even tried to take advantage of him, reaching out with lecherous hands. Without a word, he violently threw the person to the ground, then stepped hard on their hand, giving them no chance to fight back, then said disdainfully, "I told you not to touch my person. Come at me all at once. I'm in a hurry to get home." They never expected him to be so arrogant. The others were completely enraged and approached him with weapons, but within minutes, he had beaten them all down. To prevent kidnapping, he had been sent to train with special forces for over a year. Fighting these few people wasn't even a warm-up. Feng Ju in the corner kept watching him with cold eyes. Only when he approached did Feng Ju hide his true emotions. Asked with concern, "Sister, are you all right?" He smiled and reached out, saying, "I'm fine. Sister will protect you." Then he asked who Feng Ju had offended. Feng Ju pointed out, "Wang Yunxin, daughter of Hengyu Entertainment's chairman. She took a liking to me. When I rejected her, she sent people to kidnap me." He was shocked by this huge amount of information. His shocked expression made Feng Ju think he found the pretense troublesome. Feng Ju thought mockingly, "Miss, you can't even keep up the act for 3 days, but I've been pretending for many years." Then Feng Ju pretended to carefully pull his sleeve. Softly said, "Sister, it's my fault. I've troubled you and made you unhappy." He gently patted Feng Ju's head, comforting, "You're good? It's not your fault. If anyone dares bully you again, I'll definitely help you get back at them." Feng Ju didn't believe his words at all, thinking he was just pretending. Still played along saying, "Okay, thank you, sister." Just then the police arrived, asking who called them. He immediately said, "I called. Officer, they were causing trouble and beating people." Seeing this, one of the men he had beaten quickly objected, "No, we're the victims. He came and beat us all down." The police carefully observed the situation, then questioned, "You're saying this slim, delicate girl, all by herself, beat down all of you big, strong men? Is that what you mean? Sir, do you have evidence?" The man was speechless at the police's questions, but he spoke up, "He has no evidence. But I do. I recorded what they said earlier." And so, all the men he had beaten were taken away by the police. He then happily took Feng Ju to eat. He specifically came to the club his sister frequently visited. The server reminded him to show his membership card. He was very embarrassed. He was so focused on gaining the boss's favor at Jingyang Xian that he forgot this place required membership cards for entry. He remembered from the novel that the boss often came here to handle business. He didn't know if the boss was here today, but he had to take a chance. So he told the server he was here to meet someone. While dealing with the server, he didn't notice Feng Ju behind him had secretly taken out a membership card. The server asked who he was looking for. Suddenly, an unfamiliar male voice came from behind. "He's looking for me." He turned around at the voice. He saw an arrogant man walking over. The man's friends were discussing, "Isn't this young Master Shue's fiancé?" "What fiancé? This fake doesn't deserve our young Master Shue anymore. Young Master Shue is here to ask for reconciliation." Young Master Shue didn't respond to his friend's words, but deliberately said loudly, So this is why you're not replying to my messages. You found out I was at Jingyang Xian and rushed here. He couldn't remember who this man was for a moment. Seeing this, young Master Xue mocked, Gu Yang, stop pretending. I know you're unhappy about breaking off the engagement. I'm not interested in that country bumpkin Gu Jin either, but who told you you're not the real Gu family daughter? He couldn't help but sigh. So the scumbags in novels really do have bad brains. It's all true. Young Master Xue asked in disbelief, what did you say? He playfully said, nothing. Just saying your brain doesn't work well. Maybe get a new one? Because neither my sister nor I would ever be interested in you. Unknown to him, his sister nearby had also heard his words and thought what he said wasn't wrong. Young Master Xue hadn't expected her to become so beautiful and even somewhat cute in dealing with people, but he didn't want to lose face. So he turned to tell the server that this wasn't his guest and to throw him out, not to disturb his meal. The server suddenly received a phone call. Whatever was said on the phone made the server reply, yes, understood. I'll have them leave right away. Seeing this, young Master Xue smugly urged, get out quickly. Didn't you hear they've been notified to kick you out? As soon as he finished speaking, the server walked up to young Master Xue and said, young Master Xue Duo, your membership has just been cancelled by Jingyang Xian. Please leave immediately with your friends. Hearing this, young Master Xue's friends were shocked, doubting what they heard. A mere server daring to publicly expel a prestigious member, completely disregarding their face, only because the server was acting on the boss's orders. Moreover, the boss had instructed the server to clear the place if anyone caused trouble. Xue Xiao shouted angrily, I haven't violated any of Jingyang Xian's rules. How dare you cancel my membership? Let go of me. But no matter how much Xue Xiao shouted, the security guards wouldn't let go and forcibly dragged him out. He stood watching thoughtfully. The server then turned to apologize to them with a smile, gesturing them to come inside. He knew he had gambled correctly. The boss was really here, and he had successfully latched onto his support. He thought as long as he was thick-skinned and stayed close to the boss, their favorability would definitely increase. Then they sat with the boss in a private room. He glanced at the young man beside the boss. Judging from his attire, he must be the boss's subordinate Su Yin, also known as Jesus, ranked 7th on the dark web hacker list. Suddenly the boss pushed the menu in front of him, asked what he wanted to eat. The boss was curious how he found this place and what his purpose was. But what he thought was, being able to increase both the little blood bags and the boss's favor at once was too perfect. So he happily said, sister, a Jew and I aren't picky, then turned with a smile and asked, right? Before a Jew could finish speaking, he froze. Feng Ju was sitting quietly, face pale. The little blood bag was truly treated as a blood bag. No one saw him as a person, nor did anyone care if he was in pain. Seeing he wasn't ordering, sister directly ordered her usual dishes. He suddenly added, also 1 plate of stir-fried pig liver and 2 tails of yellow wine, slightly warmed. The server looked at him awkwardly. He asked, what's wrong? Don't you have it? The server explained, miss, this is Jingyang Xian. Every dish is state banquet-level private cuisine. Before the server could finish, sister told them to go make it. Soon all the dishes were served. Looking at the delicious dishes, his mouth watered. In the novel, Jingyang Xian's private dishes were praised to the skies, making him so hungry. He picked up his chopsticks, just about to take some food, suddenly realized these dishes looked somewhat familiar. So he took a bite. It wasn't the taste he expected. These dishes were more delicious than what he ate before transmigrating, but it wasn't that taste. He couldn't taste what he wanted and couldn't go back anymore. Seeing him put down his chopsticks after 1 bite, Feng Ju thought he didn't like it and said if he didn't like these, they could order others until he found something he liked. Sister sitting across from him couldn't help but laugh, asking wasn't he supposed to not be picky? How come young Miss Gu is so picky that even state banquet chef skills aren't good enough? He quickly explained, no, I like it, I really do. I was just lost in thought while eating. Didn't expect the boss to be so sensitive. To gain the boss's favor, he went all out and started eating frantically. He specially pushed a dish in front of Feng Ju, reminding, a Jew, this is for you. It's blood enriching. Feng Ju was surprised, stunned for a few seconds before coming back to his senses. Smiling, he said, thank you, sister. He thought Feng Ju looked so obedient, making one want to bully him. Suddenly, Sui across the table excitedly shouted, ah, boss, look. Those idiots from Gu's family have paid to lower that fake daughter trending topic 7 times already. Every time it drops, I send it back to the top. Sister immediately tensed up, feeling extremely awkward. Seeing sister's silence, Sui continued, "Boss, aren't you going to praise me?" Sister turned away speechlessly, not wanting to deal with this fool. He couldn't help but ask, "Then what?" Seeing his interest, Sui proudly announced, "Then, those idiots from Goose thought other topics weren't trending enough, so they exposed their artist relationships. Now the trending page is full of entertainment news, but that green tea bitch Gu Yong is still at the top." "Oh right, I was too busy earlier to introduce myself. I'm Suyi. What's your name, fairy?" He smiled and said, "I'm Gu Yong." Suyi didn't think much of it, still joking, "Haha, didn't expect you to have the same name as that green tea bitch." He stated directly, "Not the same name. I am that fake Gu family daughter trending at the top, that green tea bitch you mentioned." Hearing this, Suyi immediately asked Sister beside him, "Boss, is this true? Is the fairy the green tea bitch?" Sister could only helplessly say, "That's right, this is Gu Yong, my sister." Hearing Sister call him sister, he was stunned. The boss actually acknowledged him as a sister despite their different parents. Looking at it this way, Boss Sister's temperament wasn't bad, quite easy to get along with. As a result, Suyi beside them, seeing the harmonious atmosphere between the sisters, couldn't help but complain internally. What happened to the real and fake daughter's bloody battle in the wealthy family? Boss and the fairy are quite loving towards each other. So Suyi quickly apologized, "Boss, I was wrong. It's all Ji Lingbai's fault for misreporting. I'll take down the trending topic right away and return Gu family's money." Saying this, he began busying himself at the computer. Unexpectedly, the computer was suddenly hacked by Crest. He remembered Crest was the third-ranked hacker boss in the original novel. The first and second were of course the male and female leads, but this third-ranked was just a background character in the book. Why did they suddenly attack Suyi? Suyi took out his phone saying, "No problem, I can still operate from my phone." But looking at it, he found the trending topic had already been taken down. Suyi asked in confusion, "I haven't done anything yet." "Who did it, boss?" Sister shook her head and said, "I'm eating." But the next second, his phone was also hacked by Christ. Su Yin was very angry. He declared he and Christ would be enemies from now on. He could only comfort himself that at least the matter was resolved. Seeing Feng Ju beside him, constantly looking at his phone, he pushed a full bowl of rice in front of Feng Ju, reminding him to stop looking at his phone and eat more, finish it all. Only then did Feng Ju put down his phone. After lunch, he and Feng Ju left first. Suyi felt that his personality was quite different from what he had investigated. Sister asked Suyi how things were being handled there. Suyi said, "Don't worry, they won't find that thing for now. Those fools in Jin City wouldn't think that boss would specifically go to Liang City first to trick them, and then openly come to Jin City using the identity of Gu family's real daughter." Sister chuckled meaningfully and said, "We can't hide it from everyone though. That person from the Xiao family in the capital has also figured out quite a bit, but he'll only be making a wasted trip." Meanwhile, he and Feng Ju were walking back. The sun was quite strong outside. Feng Ju's wounds looked even more shocking in the sunlight. He knew Feng Ju was raised as a blood bank, yet never complained, always remaining gentle and obedient. But being hurt like this, could he really not mind? Was Feng Ju too pure, or was he hiding it too deep? Was it still not too late to start making amends now? If it was the former, showing more warmth could still save him. If it was the latter, then his index finger would be in danger. Thinking of this, he stopped and asked, "A Jew. From childhood until now, I've intentionally and unintentionally made you give blood countless times. Look into my eyes and tell me, do you hate me?" He began using his hypnosis. Feng Ju looked into his eyes, blankly said, "I don't hate you. My blood all belongs to sister." Hearing this answer, he couldn't believe it. In his heart, his hypnosis had never failed, and there would be no lies under hypnosis. So everything Feng Ju said was his true inner thoughts. But what did he mean by blood belongs to him? The Gu family's brainwashing was too thorough. How conscienceless. But hearing the little blood bank say he didn't hate him was reassuring. Not being corrupted meant there was still hope. He lightly tapped Feng Ju's head, breaking the hypnosis. Worried Feng Ju might overthink, he explained, "You had something on your head just now. I helped you remove it." Then he turned and continued walking forward, asking Feng Ju to go shopping with him. From now on, he wanted to properly make it up to the little blood bank, to prevent him from turning evil. Yet he didn't know Feng Ju was looking at him with a gloomy face behind him. His palm had already been squeezed until it bled. He knew this youth would become a major villain in the future, and would even cut off his fingers. Yet he still made the youth work as his porter, only because he wanted to buy more clothes for the youth, to make up for the suffering he had caused. To gradually change his fate this way. But unexpectedly, he bought too much, and the youth ended up becoming his porter. He reached out asking Feng Ju to give him the bags in his left hand. Feng Ju said it wasn't necessary, he could carry them himself. Then they entered the elevator, where it was getting more and more crowded. He felt it was very cramped. Feng Ju quickly turned around to protect him. Being too close, he unconsciously blushed. The atmosphere suddenly became strange. Suddenly, a grandmother nearby said, "Young lady, your boyfriend treats you well? You should cherish him." He instinctively exclaimed, "Ah, no, it's a misunderstanding." He hadn't finished saying, "He's not," when everyone in the elevator had already left. He quickly changed the subject awkwardly, asking Feng Ju if he liked what they bought today, and if he did, they could buy more next time. Feng Ju smiled and said, "Yes, I like everything sister gives me." Looking at such an obedient Feng Ju, he couldn't help but think how cute he was. If he hadn't confirmed Feng Ju's pure intentions through hypnosis, he would have thought Feng Ju was deliberately flirting. By the time they got home, it was already dark. As soon as they reached the doorstep, he heard cursing from inside. "Look at you. Where are your noble family manners? Not coming home when it's dark. Next time you'll probably stay out all night." He was surprised to hear this. Did the Gu family still show respect? So he and Feng Ju secretly opened the door to peek inside. They saw sister coldly saying, "Indeed, I have no manners. After all, I grew up without a mother's care." Mother became angrier seeing sister's attitude. She angrily raised her hand and shouted, "Stop right there, you unfilial daughter." Seeing the situation worsen, he immediately stepped out, calling, "Mother, wait, I'm back." But Mother's hand still landed on sister. She scolded disapprovingly, "Is this how you speak to your elders?" Seeing this, he became anxious. The goodwill they had just built up was gone. He desperately thought about how to remedy the situation. Then he heard sister mockingly say, "Mrs. Gu, why isn't your excellent daughter home yet? Why don't you repeat what you just said?" Mother was completely provoked by sister and raised her hand again, shouting, "Gu Jin, is this how you address your mother? I'll teach you how to respect your elders today." He quickly stepped forward. He hugged Mother from behind, trying to explain, "Mom, sister just came back and isn't used to things. Changing how she addresses you takes time." Mother was instantly calmed by his words and stopped trying to hit sister, but coldly said, "At least you understand everything, unlike certain ungrateful people." He interrupted Mother's words, deliberately asking with a smile, "Oh right, Mother Wanyan, have the test results come back for that skincare set cousin gave me?" Mother's attention was successfully diverted. She angrily cursed, "That illegitimate daughter is truly vicious." That skincare set had dangerous levels of lead. The effects show quickly at first, but with prolonged use, it not only causes disfigurement, but is life-threatening. He pretended to be shocked and said, "How could this be? I was so good to cousin Wanyan, yet she..." Before he could continue, Mother irritably exclaimed, "What else could it be? She did it out of jealousy. I bet she's also the one who leaked the hot search news. It must be that illegitimate daughter." As she spoke, she looked worriedly at his face and said concernedly, "Fortunately, the one Ruan Yin sent was knocked over by Xiao Ju last time, but you should still get checked at the hospital." He smiled and pointed out, "Yes, thanks to Xiao Ju. Otherwise, if I had kept using that skincare set, my face might have been ruined." Then he pulled Mother toward the dining room, pretending to accompany her for dinner, while secretly gesturing behind his back for Feng Ju to slip away. Feng Ju just smiled coldly, showing no gratitude. He was in an especially good mood after resolving another crisis, fantasizing about making it to the grand finale this way. But when he went upstairs, he found Sister standing at his bedroom door. He wasn't sure what Sister meant by this. Sister looked up, expressionlessly asking, "Don't you feel like you've forgotten something?" He really couldn't remember what he'd forgotten. His first thought was that Sister came to seek revenge, so he immediately apologized. "Sister, Mom must have been really upset by cousin today. I apologize on her behalf." But Sister pointed out that wasn't what she meant. She took out her phone and showed him a QR code. She added, "Jingyang Pavilion's bill. QR code or cash." Sister was just waiting at his door, yet he was so frightened and hurriedly apologized. Only because he had always secretly harmed Sister before, he instinctively thought she came for revenge. Unexpectedly, Sister casually took out her phone's QR code and asked, "Jingyang Pavilion's bill. QR code or cash?" Seeing him silent, Sister asked again, "What? Planning to dodge the bill?" He quickly explained, "How could I? I'll transfer the money to Sister right away." He felt the boss's behavior was odd today. It was strange when he scanned the code to transfer transfer money. He suddenly realized this wasn't a payment code at all. He smiled and said, "Oh, sister, you could just ask for my account directly." Sister expressionlessly pushed him away and coldly said, "Stop talking nonsense." After asking for payment, she went straight back to her room. He happily waved, telling sister to rest early. Back in her room, sister was stunned looking at her phone. He had invited sister to join the family group chat. Sister joined without thinking much. The group instantly exploded. Brother curiously asked, "Who's this?" He pointed out it was his biological sister, but brother immediately cursed. "Why bring that country bumpkin in? I only have you as my sister. If you bully my sister again, I'll kill you when I get back." Sister frowned seeing these group messages. She left the group chat without a word. He immediately lost his composure. He wanted to beat up this stupid brother who was setting him up for disaster. Brother had no idea he'd offended the boss, and even added a "Hmph, good that they know their place." He wanted to say, "Foolish child, you're quick to curse now, but when the Guaging esports identity is revealed, don't come crying to the crematorium." His phone showed a deposit of 200,000 yuan. Then he received a message from father. "Dad sent you a little red packet to cheer up my good daughter. Dad heard about the Shui family's marriage withdrawal. Dad will definitely get the engagement back for you. Sorry for these difficult days. Don't worry about the online situation. After some time, netizens will forget everything. You'll always be Daddy's good daughter. And about that ungrateful Ruan Yin, this matter won't end here. Wait until Dad returns." He knew that although these parents' values were somewhat wrong, they truly loved him more than their own daughter. He remembered the original protagonist's father. Company bankruptcy, loss of wife and children, complete ruin. When reading, he thought they were just villains who deserved their fate. But now the protagonist's father's kindness felt so real, he couldn't remain indifferent. To avoid the tragic ending, let him, the chosen daughter Gu Yao, correct these parents' problematic values. So he sent a voice message telling father to forget about the Shui family engagement, saying he didn't like Shui duo at all. The Shui family was full of schemes. However, the trending topic couldn't be ignored. Such a big incident would surely cause Gu Group's stock price to fall. Someone must be stirring things up behind the scenes. The PR department should issue an apology to prove sister's innocence. Father fell into deep thought hearing his long voice message. He recalled old Shui's threatening words. "Old Gu, I'd love to have Yang Yang as a daughter-in-law, but she's not really the Gu family's daughter. However, if you agree to give up some market share, since we'll be in-laws anyway, the benefits would stay in the family." Father grew angrier thinking about it and directly called Old Shui. As soon as the call connected, Old Shui's voice came through. "In-law, about what we discussed last time." Before Old Shui could continue, father roared into the phone, "Who's your in-law? If the engagement's cancelled, it's cancelled. Our Yang Yang doesn't want your Shui duo anyway. Your Shui family is just a toad trying to eat swan meat." Then father sent him another voice message. "Yang Yang, you're right. Dad will have PR handle this matter. But we can't let Ruan Yan's matter slide. Tomorrow we'll go settle accounts with her together." He was pleased that father caught on so quickly. Early the next morning, his whole family went to cousin's house. Cousin thought they came to visit grandfather. He smiled and said, "Ruan Yin, we're not here for grandfather today. We're here for you." Cousin felt guilty, but still pretended to be calm as she invited them in. Father slammed the test report on the table and declared, "This is the test report for the skincare products Ruan Yin gave Yang Yang. Products from Ruan Group. Wonder if it's just this batch with excessive lead and mercury, or all products." Second uncle held the test report with furrowed brows. Second aunt awkwardly explained, "Ruan Yin is just careless. She must have accidentally given Yang Yang some samples. Yang Yang, let's not make a fuss about this, okay?" He deliberately questioned, "Samples of Ruan Group's new products? Do samples contain excessive lead and mercury? Or is it all products? That would be a major problem." Seeing him persist with this issue, second uncle and aunt's faces darkened. After a few seconds, second uncle quietly said to father, "Brother-in-law, this is Yenner's fault. I apologize for her. Since we're family, and Yang Yang wasn't seriously harmed, can we let this matter go?" Mom angrily rebuked, "Is Ruan Yin mute? Why do you need to apologize for her?" Second brother, "And why apologize to Zhao Ming? Let Ruan Yin apologize to Yang Yang, publicly on her Weibo." Seeing mom's firm attitude, cousin cried to second aunt, "Mom, help me. I can't apologize publicly. It would ruin my entertainment career." Second aunt started pleading, "Yang Yang, we're all family. No need to make things so embarrassing. right? Your cousin is a celebrity. If this gets online, she'll be ruined. Mom didn't want to hear more and said directly, seems second brother and sister-in-law are determined to shield Ruan Yin. Does Dad know about this major company product issue? Do other shareholders know? Abuse of power isn't a small matter. Cousin hadn't expected them to be so aggressive and was about to speak when suddenly second uncle slapped her. Second uncle scolded severely, "You wretched child, I never thought you could be so vicious. I should beat you to death today." He could see second uncle wasn't foolish. He knew this matter couldn't escalate to the company level, so Ruan Yin had to take the blame. Cousin kindly sent her expensive skincare products. Not only was she ungrateful, but she brought her parents to cause trouble for cousin, all because the skincare products contained excessive lead and mercury. She knew cousin did it intentionally, so she was determined to make cousin pay. Seeing this, second uncle had no choice but to painfully slap cousin. He scolded severely, "You wretched child, I never thought you could be so vicious. I should beat you to death today." Though second aunt was unhappy, she knew they were in the wrong. She could only pretend to be calm and say, Yang, about the skincare products, we've already disciplined Yenner. We're all family. You've always been sensible and kind. Let's just let this go." Seeing second aunt being so protective, Mom angrily said coldly, "Humph, stop manipulating our Yang. Does Ruan Yin not know how the fake daughter trending topic got started?" Cousin quickly denied nervously. Grandfather upstairs couldn't stand it anymore and shouted, "Stop arguing! Since this is Ruan Yan's fault, let her face the consequences." Seeing grandfather suddenly come downstairs, second uncle became nervous, worried that grandfather would investigate thoroughly. Grandfather slowly sat down on the sofa and reproachfully said, "If the fake daughter incident hadn't gone viral online, you wouldn't have revealed Xiao Jin's identity. Since Xiao Jin is my real granddaughter, and Gu Yang has occupied her identity for so many years, isn't it time everyone returned to their rightful places?" Mom instinctively objected, "That's impossible. Yang is still underage and has hemophilia. How could she survive without the Gu family? Dad, how can you be so heartless?" Grandfather angrily accused Mom. "Xiao Jin has suffered so much outside, and you never thought to compensate her. I don't know what spell Gu Yang has cast on you all." Looking apologetically at sister, he promised, "Xiao Jin, if your parents don't treat you well at the Gu house, come to the Ruan family. Grandfather will support you." Sister responded with a faint acknowledgement. He felt the timing was right to ease the relationship between his adoptive mother and the boss. Suddenly, a cold laugh came from behind. He remembered he had another cousin. Ruan Chu was the Ruan family's second daughter. Yuan Shun had previously helped Ruan Yin slander Ruan Chu, causing her to be cyberbullied into depression and leave the entertainment circle. This made old Master Wan, who already disliked Ruan Yin, extremely disgusted with Yuan Shan as well. The first rule of the survival guide was to max out the favorability of all righteous characters. He would cure cousin Ruan Chu's depression. Taking action immediately, he walked to his cousin's side and picked up a teacup. He deliberately sighed, "I envy cousin so much, being taught tea art by grandfather. However, the taste seems similar to what I casually brew." Cousin looked at him coldly and said meaningfully, "Your green tea skills are indeed impressive." Grandfather was quite angry and scolded, "Gu Yao, you're too arrogant. I want to see how your tea art compares to Xiao Chu's casual brewing." He seized the opportunity to suggest, "If my tea art is better than cousin's, shouldn't grandfather give me some reward?" But grandfather was certain this was nonsense, saying no young lady in Jing City could match Xiao Chu, warning him not to be too arrogant. He feigned surprise and asked if grandfather meant that even Jean's sister couldn't match cousin. Grandfather was left speechless. In desperation, he proposed a bet. "If you really are better than Xiao Chu, I'll give you my treasured purple clay tea set." His small scheme succeeding, he readily agreed and smilingly asked sister if she wanted to bet too. If he lost, he'd play piano for her daily. Sister asked what if he won. His eyes lit up as he proposed the Jingyang Pavilion membership card. Sister agreed, so everyone sat together. She knew cousin didn't want to worry the old master and had been suppressing herself. In reality, she was already severely depressed. Currently, the most suitable treatment method would be to use his recent personal experience with cyberbullying, combined with hypnosis, to provide psychological guidance to cousin. While brewing tea, he began to hypnotize cousin. "I was also cyberbullied a few days ago. Private messages and comments were full of vulgar words. But when I turned off my phone, I continued playing piano and doing what I needed to do. After things were explained clearly, the cyberbullying naturally disappeared. Sometimes people encounter things, just like suddenly falling ill. But that's not your fault. What do you think, cousin? Cousin stared at him blankly and unconsciously nodded. He gently placed the brewed tea on the table. Smiling, he naturally ended the psychological suggestion. Cousin was puzzled about why listening to him today made her feel much lighter and why he suddenly started counseling her. Had he taken the wrong medicine? Grandfather picked up his brewed tea and asked via video who had better tea art skills between him and cousin. Grandfather blurted out, "Of course yours is better." After speaking, he realized he had accidentally spoken his true thoughts. He unhesitatingly said, "Then thank you, grandfather, for the purple clay tea set." Cousin could see that grandfather was very reluctant to part with the tea set and felt somewhat guilty. Seeing this, he deliberately added fuel to the fire. "Don't feel guilty, cousin. Grandfather won't blame you. If there's anyone to blame, it's because I'm too good." Seeing his smug expression, grandfather felt even more frustrated. Unexpectedly, he suddenly turned around, wiped the smile off his face, and seriously said in a low voice to his cousin, "However, I was indeed wrong before. I sincerely apologize now. Cousin, I'm sorry." Cousin was startled by his unusual behavior and again suspected he had taken the wrong medicine. After a few seconds, cousin said solemnly, "I don't accept your apology and won't forgive you. But if you give me that tea set as compensation, I might reluctantly forgive you." He pointed out that he could give the tea set to cousin, but she had to agree to one thing. Cousin cautiously asked what it was. He stated she must participate in a variety show. He knew cousin had left the entertainment circle due to cyberbullying. Yet he deliberately asked cousin to participate in a variety show, because he knew clearly that although cousin appeared normal on the surface, she was actually severely depressed. If she continued staying at home, the situation would only worsen. Seeing cousin hesitate, he pressed, "What's wrong? Are you afraid to make a comeback?" Cousin immediately retorted, "Who says I'm afraid? I agree." Although cousin didn't know why, after drinking his tea, she felt more confident. But she secretly vowed to make Wan Yin and that scumbag pay the price this time. Seeing this, he smiled and said, "Then it's settled. Cousin Wan Chu, I'll arrange the variety show." He thought his psychological suggestion just now only helped cousin become less depressed. After cousin wakes up from sleep, she would return to her original state. To truly help cousin recover, she couldn't just stay at home. Moreover, he really liked this feeling of helping patients overcome their psychological shadows. Afterward, as he left, he chased after sister asking for his reward, unaware that grandfather was watching this scene. Grandfather gave him a deep look, suddenly finding him interesting. On his way home, he kept pestering sister about the reward. By the time they got home, sister finally couldn't take it anymore and decisively took out the membership card to shut him up. Having gotten what he wanted, he happily thanked sister with a smile. He reminded sister to rest early before getting off the car. But looking up, he saw Feng Ju holding an umbrella, saying softly, "Sister, it's raining. I came to pick you up." He was quite surprised, but still politely said, "Thank you," then walked home together with Feng Ju. Sister, sitting in the car, watched this scene thoughtfully. The next day, Mom told him that Rwanyan apologized to him at midnight and quickly deleted it. His grandfather was especially angry. Early this morning, grandfather had the Rwan group post on Weibo, distancing themselves from Rwanyan. He noticed Rwanyan's fans constantly tagging him, trying to morally pressure him into accepting the apology. Mom reminded him that Dad had prepared a surprise for him, which should be released soon, and told him to check again. Just then, a latest entertainment news popped up. Effective immediately, Xiaofeng Entertainment terminates contract with Miss Rwanyan, never to renew. Miss Gu Yang is forever the Gu family's daughter, without question. His eyes instantly welled up with tears. Mom explained, "Didn't Dad tell you before that he would definitely give you an explanation? Why are you crying?" For the first time, he experienced the feeling of being favored by his parents. His heart felt warm, and he secretly determined to protect this family and prevent the tragic plot from happening. Then, he casually reposted Xiaofeng Entertainment's news with 3 words, "Won't forgive." A few days later, he took the membership card sister gave him and brought Feng Shui to eat at Jingyang Pavilion. Upon entering, they saw Mom arguing with a woman. "Mrs. Su, I made the appointment with Miss Caroline first. It's not right for you to cut in line like this." He was confused about why Mom was at Jingyang Pavilion, wondering if there was a new plot development. This woman called Mrs. Su disdainfully mocked Mom. How can you call this cutting in line? I want to invite Caroline to try Jingyang Pavilion's special dishes. And Mrs. Gu, you don't have a membership card. We can't keep our distinguished guest waiting. Mom was left speechless. She was worried about not getting Caroline's design, as the company's only hope would be gone. What to do? He stepped forward, holding up the card and called out loudly, "Mom, you forgot your membership card." Mrs. Su didn't believe it at all and sneered, "Xiangyang, you think you can get in with just any membership card? You can't even fake it properly. Look, this is a real membership card," she said, showing her card with VIP printed on it. He looked at his own card, which indeed didn't have the VIP marking. He started to worry, wondering if the boss had tricked him. Just then, the manager came over and warmly said, Mrs. Gu, please come in." Seeing this, Mrs. Su angrily shouted, "Manager Tan, look carefully. He's holding a fake membership card." The manager calmly replied, "Ladies, top-tier VIP cards are naturally different. When you upgrade to top-tier VIP, someone will present the card to you. We still have business to do. Please excuse yourself." Wen Yin and his mom were both stunned. This was only his second time dining here, yet the manager gave him special treatment. Instead, they were cold to regular members who visited frequently, all because he had a top-tier VIP card. And the regular member even mocked his card as fake. The manager had to personally explain for him, leaving Mrs. Su speechless. She then sarcastically said to Mom, "Haha, going to such lengths to invite Miss Caroline. Could there be problems with Mrs. Gu's Shuerao jewelry?" Mom replied coldly, "Don't worry about it, Mrs. Su. Shuerao is doing very well now." Hearing this, Mrs. Su pretended to be kind and said, "Is that so? That's good. But if you have any difficulties, feel free to ask sister for help. Our company could consider taking over Shuerao." He quickly went to hold Mom's arm and asked with a smile, "Mom, are you okay? Ju and I will accompany you." He turned to call Feng Ju. Mom was confused. Hadn't he always despised Feng Ju? And what was the story with that Jingyang Pavilion VIP card? However, right now, getting Ms. Caroline's help was more important. So, Mom enthusiastically introduced China to Ms. Caroline. She followed them into the private room and was amazed by the luxurious decorations. The manager explained, "This is a room for VIP guests only. You can order anything from Jingyang Pavilion's menu, and we'll prepare it fresh." He secretly marveled at how impressive the boss was, never expecting VIP guests to have such privileges. Mom handed the menu to Ms. Caroline, saying, "Miss Caroline, you're our guest. Please order first." Miss Caroline took the menu, but seemed somewhat troubled. Mom asked puzzled, "Is there anything you need help with?" Miss Caroline softly replied, "Juan, your Chinese cuisine is indeed diverse. I've been to China many times, but I've never seen these dishes before. Could you recommend some to me?" Previously, when Mom came here, Dad had always ordered, so she didn't know much about Jingyang Pavilion's special dishes. He noticed Mom's embarrassment. He immediately stood up and walked to Ms. Caroline's side. Speaking fluent French, he introduced himself, "Ms. Caroline, I am Ruan's daughter. Jingyang Pavilion's special dishes include all 8 major Chinese cuisines. I recommend these." While speaking, he started ordering. Miss Caroline praised his French, saying his accent was very authentic. He thanked Miss Caroline. He hoped Miss Caroline would enjoy the dishes later. Mom curiously asked him when his French had become so good. He replied that he had been practicing recently in his spare time. Maybe it's because she has a talent for languages. Feng Ju behind her looked at her meaningfully, maintaining his silence. Shortly after, all the dishes were served. Mom finally started discussing business. "I really admire your jewelry designs, especially your angel series. I wonder if my Shuerao jewelry company could have the honor of having you design a piece." Miss Caroline put down her chopsticks and apologetically said, "Ruan, I'm sorry, but I have important matters during this visit to China. I won't be designing for any company. You mentioned the Angel series. It's not yet complete. I'm only here to seek different inspiration." He knew Caroline was a famous jewelry designer whose pieces sold for astronomical prices. Mom's Shuerao jewelry company was being severely pressured by Mrs. Su and was now near bankruptcy. In the original story, to reverse Shuerao jewelry's decline, Mom took risks with illegal financing and ended up in jail. Now, only Caroline's help could keep Mom from going down the wrong path. But Caroline was stubborn and rarely accepted commissions. While pondering this, Mom spoke up again. Miss Caroline, the Angel series is a big project. Take your time. Our company only needs you to spare a little time to design one piece. It won't take much of your time. Caroline seriously replied, Juan, you Chinese have a saying, finish what you start. I always follow through with what I begin. Mom became anxious and reluctantly offered, Miss Caroline, don't reject me so quickly. Rest assured, if you design one piece for Shuarao, I'll double your usual fee. Hearing this, Miss Caroline angrily rebuked, Ruan, this isn't about money. Mom immediately blurted out, triple the fee. Caroline was completely angered by Mom and asked displeasingly, I said this isn't about money. Ruan, are you looking down on me? He was speechless. How did Mom manage to hit every wrong note so precisely? He held Mom's anxious hand. Smiling, he said, Mom, let me handle this. Then, he spoke again in French to Miss Caroline. I can provide inspiration for your Angel series. Mom became more anxious hearing this, saying, Yang, I know you want to help Mom. Your intention is enough, she assured Mom. Miss Caroline stated directly that if she could really provide inspiration to complete the Angel series, let alone designing one piece, she would give them the entire Angel series. Surprised by this unexpected turn, he quickly asked, Do you mean it? Miss Caroline pointed out, Of course. As the Chinese saying goes, a gentleman's word is worth its weight in gold. Who would have thought that a jewelry designer known for strict principles would agree to collaborate with a novice young girl? Just because the young girl promised to help find inspiration, she knew the Angel series jewelry was diverse and highly anticipated. If Mom's jewelry company could secure it, they would surely outshine their competitors and dominate the jewelry industry. Seeing her confidence, Caroline kindly reminded her, young people should stay grounded. Finding design inspiration isn't easy. He handed his phone to Caroline, suggesting she look before making conclusions. Caroline took one look and immediately changed her attitude, exclaiming, My God, how didn't I think of this? Angels aren't just about purity, they're symbols of light. They should shine even in darkness. He strongly agreed with Caroline's view, saying loudly, Exactly. As I know, you've completed 9 sets in your Angel series, corresponding to the 9 angels, focusing on purity and sanctity. You still feel it's not perfect, but perhaps? As he looked down at the phone in Caroline's hand, ready to continue sharing his opinion, he suddenly realized he had shown the wrong photo. Embarrassed, he awkwardly explained, Sorry, Miss Caroline, I clicked the wrong photo. Unexpectedly, Caroline firmly gripped the phone as he tried to take it back, seriously saying, No, my dear miss, this one is perfect. You can't imagine how much inspiration I got when I saw this photo. He paused for a moment, then walked to Caroline's side, insisting on showing the photo he had prepared. Caroline was extremely excited, shouting, Not angels, fallen angels. I must return immediately to create a fallen angel-themed jewelry. Send them to me, both photos. While speaking, she took out her phone and asked, Should I scan yours, or you scan mine? He was somewhat flattered but maintained composure and actively added Caroline as a friend. Mom watched in amazement. Was this really the same proud and eccentric Caroline she knew? While still dazed, Caroline called out to Juan, Get ready to buy my Angel series designs. For your little angel's sake, I'll give you a 10% discount. Mom nodded in agreement. After Caroline left, they also left the private room. Mom finally began to marvel. Yang, did I hear correctly? She looked at 2 photos and agreed to sell the Angel series to Shuarao. He smiled and said, That's right. Suddenly, a mocking voice came from behind. Oh, isn't this Mrs. Gu? Finished dinner so soon? Another woman sneered, Don't say that. Maybe Miss Caroline had urgent matters and left early, not because Mrs. Gu offended her. Mom turned around and coldly said, Humph, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. Caroline just agreed to sell the Angel series to Shuarao. The rival didn't believe Mom's words at all, laughing arrogantly, Haha, we all saw Caroline leave. Still dreaming about getting the Angel series? What a joke. I think Mrs. Gu should go back to being a full-time housewife. Being a strong businesswoman like Mrs. Su isn't for everyone. Shuarao barely has any designers left. Bankruptcy is inevitable. Mrs. Su is just waiting to acquire Shuarao. He, who had been quiet all along, finally spoke up. Mrs. Su, since you don't believe Caroline agreed to sell the Angel series to Shuarao, dare to make a bet with my mom? Mrs. Su didn't take him seriously at all, boasting, What's there to fear? But Mrs. Gu, what are you betting? Shuarao? Mom stated firmly. If I can't get the Angel series designs, Shueirao is yours. But if I win, you must return Shueirao's original designers and give me your company's 5 top jewelry designers. Mrs. Su confidently replied, "Deal. I'll be waiting." Then she turned and left smugly. Mom held his hand, excitedly saying, Yang, thanks to you. I need to go prepare Caroline's contract at the company. You and Feng Ju head home. He suddenly remembered he had completely forgotten about the blood pact that came with him. So he contentedly patted Feng Ju's head, saying softly, "Adieu. Sorry for ignoring you earlier. By the way, are you full?" Feng Ju maintained his usual obedient demeanor, quietly saying, "It's fine." Then he and Feng Ju went home. He lazily lay down on the sofa to rest. Suddenly a gun was pressed against his head. His drowsiness instantly vanished as he instinctively shouted, "Who?" Then he heard a familiar female voice near his ear. "So you sold me out." Never had he seen such a sister who would point a gun at her sister's head without warning, just because the little sister secretly sold one of her sister's photos. He suddenly remembered that he seemed to have forgotten the boss also had an identity as a military weapons designer. So he quickly explained, "I only sold sister's photo." Sister ignored him, decisively pulled the trigger. He resignedly closed his eyes. The expected gunshot didn't come. He then realized it was just a lighter. Sister asked him how his piano practice went today. He immediately replied, "Not yet," and quickly ran to the piano room. He decided to play Moonlight Sonata today. After observing for so many days, he was certain that Sister had severe insomnia. Moonlight Sonata could help soothe Sister's emotions. He just couldn't understand why Sister, being so young, would suffer from such serious insomnia. Could it be from having too many identities and overworking her brain? While he was playing and thinking, Sister suddenly reminded him he played 3 wrong notes. Seeing him staring at her, Sister asked puzzledly, "Why are you looking at me?" He smiled and said, "Because you're beautiful." Sister didn't expect such direct praise and became embarrassed. Rather awkwardly, she said softly, "You went out with Feng Ju again today?" He replied honestly, "Yes, why?" Sister suddenly warned seriously, "Stay away from him." Then she left the piano room. Sister glanced towards Feng Ju's room. On impulse, she went to knock on Feng Ju's door. Feng Ju opened the door expressionlessly. Sister boasted, "How was it?" "He played for me." Feng Ju gave Sister a deep look, then stepped aside to show Sister the shopping bags piled on the floor. Refusing to back down, he said, "He bought these just for me." The two kept exchanging challenging glances, neither willing to yield. Meanwhile, not far away, he inexplicably sneezed. He felt annoyed, wondering who was talking about him. During dinner, Mom happily took out the membership card he gave and told Dad that thanks to him, they got a VIP membership card to Jingyangshan. He pointed out that Sister gave him the membership card. Mom was very surprised, doubting what she heard, not believing Sister could get him this card. He pointed at Sister and said loudly, "Yes." And Miss Caroline only got inspiration for the fallen angel after seeing Sister's photo. That photo was also taken by Sister. But Mom thought the photo was just a coincidence, saying if he hadn't used it well, it wouldn't have had such value. He didn't say anything more, but he planned in his heart to improve the relationship between the boss and Mom in the future. Then he smiled and asked Dad, "Can you give me 2 guest spots for that wine and chat show you invested in? I want to attend with cousin Ruan Chu." Dad felt that Ruan Chu had already left the entertainment circle and had a bad reputation, suggesting he shouldn't get too close to her. He immediately acted cute with Dad. "I really want to participate. Besides, if anything happens, we still have you, right?" Dad was most susceptible to this approach and immediately said, "That's right, Dad won't let you get cyberbullied." But speaking of strange things, the money I spent on suppressing hot searches was returned. Wenyan instinctively looked at Sister. He guessed this must have been Sister's doing. After he got the guest spots, the internet exploded immediately. All the netizens who previously cyberbullied Ruan Chu emerged. Seeing the news, Ruan Chu locked herself in her room, refusing to come out. The old master was very worried, knocking hard on the door, but Ruan Chu didn't open it. With no choice, the old master could only stand at the door and try to persuade Chu. At this time, the servant told the old master that the young lady had arrived. The old master was already angry and couldn't believe he dared to come, angrily scolding that he caused Choo Choo to be cyberbullied. He even came to the door, telling him to get lost. After saying that, the old master changed his mind and said to release the Tibetan Mastiff in the courtyard. His granddaughter rarely took the initiative to visit, yet the old master wanted to release the Tibetan Mastiff to scare him, just because he had pushed the old master's precious granddaughter into the spotlight. The old master knew he had been afraid of the Tibetan Mastiff since childhood. Later, at his mother's request, the dog was tied up in another room, but this time, he dared to bully his precious granddaughter. So the old master was determined to teach him a good lesson. He had no idea he had offended the old master. Seeing no one coming to greet him, he opened the door and went in himself. Suddenly, there was a strange movement behind him that startled him. Hearing the sound, the old master was surprised and asked puzzledly, "What's going on? Isn't the Tibetan Mastiff tied up?" He quickly walked towards the courtyard to ask the butler what was happening. "I just said to release it. How could it get out so quickly? And why isn't anyone watching it?" When the old master arrived, he saw him sitting on the ground being licked by the Tibetan Mastiff. The old master was just relieved he was okay, not knowing that he had successfully tamed the dog using hypnosis. The effect was too obvious, and he couldn't handle the dog's enthusiasm, so he laughed and called out, "Xiaobai, stop playing and go away." But the Tibetan Mastiff still stuck to him intensely. He could only helplessly comfort it. "Good boy, Xiaobai is so cute." The old master couldn't stand it anymore and said sternly, "What, Xiaobai? This is a Tibetan Mastiff." He didn't mind, just took the iron chain from the dog's neck and seriously analyzed. "Grandfather, look at how regular this break in the chain is. It was clearly deliberately broken by someone." The old master had only wanted to scare him. Unexpecting someone had tampered with the Tibetan Mastiff. He became very angry and ordered, "Investigate thoroughly who approached the Tibetan Mastiff today." Soon the butler brought a woman over, telling the old master that through surveillance, they found Aunt Lou had cut the chain and drugged the Tibetan Mastiff. Knowing she was exposed, Aunt Lou hurriedly explained, "Master, it wasn't me. I didn't want to harm the young lady." The old master angrily rebuked, "Save it for the police station," and told the butler to send her there. Then he asked him why he came today. He pointed at the old master's teapot and said he came to drink tea with grandfather. The old master snatched the teapot from his hands and said vigilantly, "Don't even think about these tea sets." He admitted he actually came to see cousin Ruan Chu. At these words, Ruan Chu was stunned. He smiled and reminded, "Cousin, didn't you promise to participate in the variety show?" Ruan Chu nervously asked, "When? What show?" He pointed out, "In 2 days, Wine and Chat." Ruan Chu was shocked. "What? Wine and Chat? Director Chin's live variety show?" While speaking, she took out her phone to check. Sure enough, she saw the latest trending topic about herself. Ruan Chu angrily slammed the table and scolded, "Gu Yao, how much do you hate me? To get me cyberbullied again, you even dragged your father's invested show into this?" He seriously suspected his cousin not only had depression but also paranoia. He asked Ruan Chu to look carefully at the guest list. Who else? Ruan Chu looked at the trending topic again and found Ruan Yin and Chao Juning. Ruan Chu became angrier and shouted, "Gu Yao, you're really ruthless." He was helpless and reminded Ruan Chu to look at the guest list again carefully. Who else? This time Ruan Chu saw clearly that he was also in it. Ruan Chu furiously questioned, "What game are you playing? Want to watch me make a fool of myself up close?" He was frustrated, thinking this child's paranoia was hopeless. So he went along with Ruan Chu's words and said, "That's right, just to watch you make a fool of yourself. Let's go out for a while. To prepare for watching you make a fool of yourself," he said as he pulled Ruan Chu out. Shortly after, he brought Ruan Chu to a beauty salon. He thought with Ruan Chu's current state going on the variety show, standing next to Ruan Yin, she would really be a laughingstock. "It's actually the one next door," he said, pointing to a shabby storefront. Although Ruan Chu didn't understand why he recommended this place, she still followed him in. When they came out, their beautiful appearances drew many passers-by's attention. He proudly boasted, "How is it? Pretty good, right? The face masks at this beauty salon aren't sold anywhere else. All natural herbal essence, pure with no additives." Ruan Chu couldn't deny his words. The effect was good, but one face mask cost 5,000. Was it made of gold or something? He wanted to say this was opened by a big shot. Of course the effects were good. In the future, getting an appointment would take a year or two. Suddenly, a soft mocking voice came from behind. "Sister, how do you have time to go shopping today? Oh right, you haven't seen Juning for a while, have you?" We're planning to get engaged next month. He protected Ruan Chu behind him and shot back. Cousin Ruan Yin is really free. Hasn't grandfather called you back yet? Ruan Yin pretended not to understand. I don't know what cousin means. Just as she finished speaking, her phone rang. As soon as Ruan Yin answered, grandfather's furious voice came through. You unfilial child. Get back here immediately. Ruan Yin looked at him unwillingly and questioned, Gu Yao, what tricks are you playing that even grandfather would cooperate with you? He coldly sneered, cousin, don't you know best what you did? Never seen such a green tea sister. Not only stealing her sister's boyfriend, but even turning around to blame the sister. After mocking Ruan Chu, Ruan Yin turned to him and said loudly, Gu Yao, don't think that by pleasing grandfather, this fake heiress can become real. Just you wait. After saying that, she left arrogantly with her boyfriend. Seeing this, Ruan Chu was very affected. He quickly went forward to support her, and heard Ruan Chu say softly, It's okay. I'm just wondering how I ever fell in love with Chao Junmin, that scumbag. Though it would be painful, Ruan Chu's willingness to talk about this was good for her condition, he knew. He comforted her, Cousin, with your conditions, Tin Chao Junix wouldn't be worthy of you. He must have deceived you. His cousin calmly narrated, He did deceive me. I first met him on a film set. At that time, I was passionate about the entertainment industry but had no acting skills. I often had NGs. When I met him, I was feeling dejected. I had hidden my heiress identity then, and everyone in the crew complained about my frequent NGs. Only he kept encouraging and supporting me. After we got together, I revealed my identity to him. I also secretly helped him find many resources. Unexpectedly, he knew my identity from the start and deliberately approached me. After we got together, he even cheated. At this point, Ruan Chu shed tears of heartbreak. He immediately said, Cousin, don't worry, they'll face karma soon. Ruan Chu asked puzzledly, What do you mean? He pulled his cousin along, smiling, You'll see. At this moment, Ruan Chu was stunned. She felt that now, he didn't seem so hateful anymore. When they returned home, they saw grandfather scolding Ruan Yin. Second aunt quickly stepped forward to speak for Ruan Yin, pointing out that there must be a misunderstanding, suggesting that Gu Yao might be acting to gain sympathy. Hearing this, grandfather roared at second aunt, Acting? The records of her instructing Aunt Lu to release the dogs are still here. What false accusations? Keep talking and you can get out too. Second uncle pointed at him at the door and shouted, Dad, Gu Yao is just a fake. Who cares how good she is? How can she compare to your real granddaughter Yin Yin? Ruan Chu looked at him sympathetically, realizing he hadn't had it easy lately. After his fake heiress identity was exposed, who knows how much cold treatment he had endured. But he didn't care at all, because he knew second uncle's family was about to be humiliated. Just then, Mom's voice came from the hall. Second brother, who are you calling fake? I said it before, Yang Yang will always be the Gu family heiress. It's Ruan Yin, the illegitimate daughter, who can't compare to Yang Yang. Second uncle awkwardly stepped forward to greet her politely, but Mom completely ignored second uncle. Walking to second aunt, she demanded, Are you trying to let Yang Yang's attacker go free again? Dad, who had been silent, spoke up displeased, Second brother, if you can't give us a proper explanation today, we'll have to settle this in court. Second uncle realized he couldn't brush this off easily, but going to court was absolutely not an option. Ruan Yin, hearing about court, got scared and quickly asked second uncle to protect her. Unexpectedly, second uncle slapped Ruan Yin hard. He angrily scolded Ruan Yin, You ungrateful girl, didn't you learn from last time? Fortunately, Gu Yang wasn't hurt, or you'd have to atone for this your whole life. He then signaled second aunt to smooth things over. Though reluctant, second aunt had no choice. She had to swallow her pride and tell Mom, Yes, Sister Yin Yin knows her mistake. We'll definitely teach her better when we get home. Second uncle politely approached him saying, Niece, I'll have Yin Yin apologize to you now. Please forgive her this time. She'll treat you better from now on. He smiled and agreed, Uncle, don't be so formal. Of course I'll forgive her. Behind him, Ruan Chu couldn't believe he forgave Ruan Yin so easily, wondering if he was really going to let it go. But the next second, he avoided second uncle's hand. With a smile, he said word by word, However, while I forgive cousin, I haven't forgiven uncle who repeatedly failed to teach her properly. The noble family's eldest daughter received word that her brother was speaking ill of Gu Jin. However, they were caught red-handed by the person in question. Ruan Jihao shouted angrily, Gu Yang, what do you mean by that? Gu Yang glanced at Su Yun. Just what I said. As the saying goes, if the child is not taught, it's the father's fault. Besides Ruan Yin, you all should pay the price too. Ruan Shuling wouldn't let it go either. Yang Yang is right. If apologies worked, why would we need police? You can't just apologize and move on. Absolutely not. Ruan Jihao's expression changed. Knowing he was in the wrong and compromised, what do you want then? You can't really want our whole family to go to jail? Ruan Shuling said harshly, I want you to divorce that woman, drive this mother and daughter out of Jin City. Ruan Yin relies on being the true Ruan family heiress, and looks down on Yang Yang who became the fake heiress. Then let her continue being that shameful illegitimate daughter. Su Yun hadn't expected to be involved. Having finally succeeded in moving up from being the mistress, she certainly didn't want to return to her previous life. Yang Yang, we know we were wrong. We'll definitely make it up to you. Please convince your mother. Ruan Jihao chimed in, yes, Yang Yang. Can you bear to see your uncle's family torn apart because of this? Ruan Shuling was very angry and forcefully pulled Ruan Jihao aside. Stop with the moral coercion. Yang Yang, if you don't drive them out today, I'll have your whole family thrown in jail. With no options left, Ruan Jihao turned to Old Master Ruan for help. Old Master Ruan showed no mercy, waving his hand and slapping him. He had never agreed with Ruan Jihao bringing his mistress home, and he particularly disliked Ruan Yin, the illegitimate daughter. But Ruan Jihao had been bewitched by Su Yun, acting stubbornly, and he couldn't stop him. Ruan Jihao's face showed struggle, but he finally agreed to Ruan Shuling's demands. Su Yun saw Ruan Jihao's impatience and said nothing more, but like Ruan Yin, she began to hate Gu Yang. Gu Yang felt relieved. Although Ruan Yin wouldn't let this go easily, at least he got some revenge. Ruan Chu, understanding Ruan Yan's nature, warned, don't relax too soon. Ruan Yin is vicious and will surely seek revenge later. Gu Yao raised an eyebrow. Cousin, are you worried about me? Ruan Chu loudly denied. Who's worried about you? Gu Xiaoming took out a black card. I haven't helped you much just now. Dad will transfer money to you now. Be happy. Soon, 500,000 arrived in his Alipay account. It's fine. Thank you Mom and Dad for protecting me just now. Ruan Chu's lips curved slightly. Gu Yang had really changed. Everyone was moving forward, and he should move past this shadow too. The variety show Gu Yang invited him to might be his chance. Since the guest list for drinking and chatting was announced, online discussions had been heated. Gu Yao also received greetings from many friends and relatives. His brother Gu Pei, training at the esports club, the hot-tempered youth trying to control his anger, called to ask if Gu Jing forced him to run away from home, making him join some variety show. Gu Yang didn't understand his brother's logic, wondering how it involved Gu Jing, and truthfully said no. However, Gu Pei became even more angry, as if imagining Gu Yang being held at knife point by Gu Jing, and declared firmly, Sis, don't worry. When I return, I'll help you drive that country bumpkin away. You won't suffer anymore. A voice like a coach called Gu Pei to get online, and the call ended. No, listen to me. He suspected his brother had anger issues. He suddenly turned around and saw Gu Jing wearing a black spaghetti strap dress, her jade-like skin glowing, standing at his doorway, startling him. He felt somewhat guilty. Sister Gu Jing was at the door, looking languid, eyebrows slightly raised, both slanted and cold. Gu Yang wanted to cry. Thanks to Gu Pei, he might only be able to take care of his afterlife. The trillion-dollar-worth boss pressed closer. So you want to run away from home? Gu Yao quickly explained. I didn't want to drive you away. The Gu family belongs to you. If anyone should leave, it's me. Gu Jing looked up at Gu Yao, saying leisurely, so you really plan to run away from home? Gu Yang almost fainted. The boss's focus seemed off. He had his principles. He couldn't comfortably occupy someone else's nest like Yuan Shun, enjoying what should belong to others. But he had become Yuan Shun, enjoying everything from the Gu family. He also couldn't ungratefully abandon the Gu family and only care for himself. So he chose to temporarily stay with the Gu family, help them overcome their crisis, and prevent them from self-destructing. Better yet, build good relationships with female boss Gu Jing and antagonist Feng Ju. He'd leave the Gu family when the time was right. Even Ruan Shuling hadn't noticed his intentions. Unexpectedly, Gu Jing had seen through it. Gu Jing left without waiting for his response. She seemed to have asked casually, not caring about it afterward. Soon, drinking and chatting began broadcasting. Welcome to the first live broadcast of Drinking and Chatting. Fu Sheng saw the livestream comments. Who is the mystery guest? Curious, he thought for a moment and said, the mystery guest will of course appear last. But to let everyone meet them sooner, let's have our guests come out now. First, our couple Ruan Yin and Chao Juning. Ruan Yin smiled sweetly. Hello, everyone. Actually, she was extremely disgusted. If it weren't for that bitch Gu Yao getting her kicked out of home and unable to pay the contract penalty, she wouldn't be showing her face at this time. Suddenly, footsteps came from behind. Tang Xiao turned while speaking. Next up is our wealthy sister duo. However, they found it was the award-winning actor. The camera turned from their surprised faces to the door, where wearing casual coat, looking like a noble young master, Ji Jinqi raised his eyebrows and greeted everyone. The live stream was instantly filled with comments. The mystery guest is actually Ji Jinqi. His status is bigger than all others combined. Can't believe he's doing this show with them. Ruan Yin was very surprised. How come you're here as the mystery guest? Ji Jinqi's thoughts returned to a few days ago. His manager was very dissatisfied with him joining this variety show and reported to the department. He calmly sat aside, looking through the show's personnel list. Surprisingly, he found the little fairy who had saved someone before on the list. A satisfied smile gradually appeared on his face. Then he interrupted his manager's phone call, loudly announcing his decision. Don't cancel it. I want to go. After remembering this, he chuckled. I just want to make some friends. Don't be nervous. Then he looked around but didn't see the little fairy. I'm the mystery guest. Shouldn't I be the last to arrive? Why are there only you few? Ruan Yin suddenly jumped in. Ruan Chu and Gu Yao are always like this. They're often late because of makeup and such trivial matters. They're the ones who are late first. Don't blame me for telling everyone. Just as she finished speaking, a clear voice came from afar. Sorry we're late. We apologize for keeping everyone waiting. We met on the way. Before finishing, Ruan Yin interrupted. Whatever the reason, late is late. She looked towards Ji Jinqi. Don't you agree? However, he was no longer beside her. Ji Jinqi had already rushed to Gu Yao's side, smiling like a child. It's you. You're finally here. Gu Yao was confused. Did they know each other? The wealthy young lady who helped others bravely faced kidnappers and saved the little girl. However, this scene was witnessed by the male lead. Ji Jinqi helped Gu Yao with her suitcase. Though confused, Gu Yao still politely thanked him. Ji Jinqi smiled, his eyes touched by summer sunlight. No need to be so formal. Just call me by my name. Where did this woman come from? How did she seduce him? Our Ji fans, don't make wild guesses. Didn't you see it was Jingdi who actively pursued her? Who knows if it's her playing hard to get? Ruan Chu helped ask the livestream audience's question. She curiously looked at Ji Jinqi, then at Gu Yao. She sweetly asked, Yang, do you know actor Ji from before? Yes and no were said simultaneously. The former from Ji Jinqi, the latter from Gu Yao. The air froze for a moment. Ji Jinqi looked at Gu Yao with hurt eyes. Don't you remember? On Jincheng Street, when you saved someone, we met. Gu Yao suddenly realized, oh, it was you. Sorry, you were wearing a mask then. I didn't recognize you. Ji Jinqi's expression brightened, smiling. It's okay. The guests had various thoughts, never expecting that Gu Yao would know Ji Jinqi and that he would treat her so well. Ruan Yin clenched her fists, grinding her teeth in anger. Damn it, I didn't expect they'd met before. Can't let them take all the attention and reputation. So she kept harping on the lateness issue. Yang is so kind. I'm sure there's a reason for being so late today. Fans immediately sent comments. Late is late. Just an impolite young lady. Both are young ladies, but Yin was on time while she's late and still putting on an act. The difference is clear. Gu Yao pretended to look wronged. I didn't want to mention it and make everyone worry. But since you're so curious, why not check the news? Viewers exclaimed. What news could excuse your diva behavior and lateness? Suddenly someone said, stop arguing. Check the trending topics. Gu Yao was late because she saved someone. Ruan Yin curiously checked the trending topics, and her expression changed instantly. Liangsheng officials posted directly praising Gu Yao. Thanks to caring citizen Miss Gu Yao for her bravery. She stepped forward against kidnappers to save a young girl. Your kindness saved a young life. On the street, there was a deranged man grabbing a 2- or 3-year-old girl. Gu Yao looked at him calmly. Her voice was gentle like a breeze over water. I'm your wife's doctor. She's pregnant. The man sneered. You're lying. It's just a trick. Why didn't he tell me earlier? Gu Yao slowly paced about 3 meters away from him, her voice still calm. You're still holding the child. He told me earlier he wanted to tell you, to reconcile with you. The man wavered, and Gu Yao seized the chance to use hypnosis. The man became momentarily dazed. Gu Yao moved quickly, taking a few steps forward. She took the chance to kick him with her long legs. At that moment, the little girl escaped from his grasp. The little girl immediately ran anxiously to her mother. Everyone looked at Gu Yao in surprise. They hadn't expected this delicate young lady to have better skills than their armed police. The live stream instantly erupted like screaming prairie dogs. Little fairy is so cool. So Gu Yao is late because she was saving someone. Haters better apologize now. Little fairy is brave and smart. I'm a fan now. Ruan Yin angrily glared at Gu Yao. That little wretch. She actually deliberately played her. Gu Yao noticed her cousin's bad mood and couldn't help but twist the knife. Why such an ugly expression? Are you worried about me after watching the video? Don't worry, I'm fine. As she spoke, her gaze drifted to the entrance. A luxury car was parked there, a black Rolls-Royce. She remembered the original text mentioned Liangshan only had one. This was the male lead's car. He was also present earlier. In the original story, after being impressed by the boss, he often helped suppress the original. Wonder how things are progressing between him and the boss now. Can only hope saving someone left a good impression. Used her ability in the urgency earlier. Hope he won't focus on that. Inside the car, a youth in yellow clothes was looking at this trending topic. He picked up his phone to show the suited man in the back. Mr. Xiao, that girl who saved someone earlier is quite something. Xiao Yi's lips curved slightly. Seeming quite interested, Gu Yao is skilled in both martial arts and hypnosis at such a young age. Interesting. The trillion-dollar hidden boss was actually jealous over his sister, continuously giving rewards in the live stream to reach top place. Lin Ran raised an eyebrow. Mr. Xiao, the little fairy knows so many special abilities at such a young age. Could she be the one we're looking for? Xiao Yiza directly said, impossible. The person we're looking for isn't this kind. After speaking, he directly gave rewards to reach first place in the live stream. Meanwhile, Suyi was shocked. Someone's rewards have surpassed yours for our sister, becoming number one. Gu Jin glared at him. That's my sister. Since when did she become your sister? Suyi immediately begged forgiveness. Slip of the tongue. Boss, you should see who took your first place. Gu Jin appeared indifferent, fingers clicking on the keyboard. Doesn't matter who it is, just need to take first place back. Suyi looked stunned. Boss, you're giving rewards to Gu Yao again? And helping clear her name on trending topics? Have you forgotten how that green tea girl framed you before? Gu Jin's fingers paused, his eyes brightening as he looked at Suyi, his tone still lazy. I said she's my sister, not some green tea girl. And I didn't make the trending topic. It was Quest. Suyi suddenly looked up in surprise. Somewhat unexpectedly, he hacked my computer last time. I haven't gotten revenge. Helping Gu Yao this time. He must have bad intentions. Boss, I can't beat him. You have to help me get revenge. Gu Jin gave him a cold look. Who told you I could beat him? Suyi looked disbelieving. Boss, you're being too modest. You're the #1 hacker on the dark web. Although Quest rarely appeared before you reached the top, if you really fought, you'd definitely be better than him. Besides, if he really has ill intentions toward the little fairy, even if we can't beat him, we can't let him off. Gu Jin's mouth twitched, giving a cold laugh. Let's see if he has what it takes. Suyi exclaimed, Boss, we don't know Quest's intentions yet, but someone else has surpassed your first place again. The ID is Cece. Sister Cheng, but Gu Jin's eyes flashed. Cece definitely wouldn't. His days and nights were flawed, just like the jade pendant. There are quite a lot of people with ill intentions toward my sister. As he spoke, he quickly typed on the keyboard again. Soon he took back the first place position. The director watched as the live stream donations approached 1 million, very satisfied. He ordered the assistant to put Gu Yao and Jingdi in one group, giving them more screen time. The filming soon began. Everyone walked out of the farmhouse together to the rice fields. Viewers in the live stream were surprised to see Gu Yao doing farm work. Unexpected that Gu Yao, being a young lady, was so down to earth, cutting wheat so efficiently. Jingdi, stop staring at the little fairy. You look so cheap. How does the little fairy even know how to catch fish? What other surprises don't we know about? Both are wealthy ladies, but Ruan Yin looks so awkward. The sisters' relationship is so good. The food Ruan Chu made looks delicious. I'm so envious. Ruan Yin gritted her teeth, very angry. Unexpected that even the production team was on their side. Can't let them stay in the spotlight. You're shipping CP with Jingdi. Don't blame me for dragging Ruanju down. So she held on to Chao Juning's arm. Started apologizing. Sorry, I'm not as good at cooking as sister. You'll have to put up with eating these. Chao Juning's eyes were full of care. Don't say that. I like you no matter what. If you're not good at cooking, I can learn. The live stream suddenly erupted like screaming groundhogs. Real couple so sweet. Ruan Chu, this homewrecker, just wants to seduce Chao Juning through cooking? Too bad he only loves Yin Yin. Ruan Chu watched this scene with a pained heart. Guyao noticed her cousin's emotions, so she enthusiastically praised her cousin. Your cooking is really delicious. Fortunately, it's made for me to eat, not for some ungrateful people. Ruan Chu's lips twitched slightly. Yes, too bad the public can't see who the ungrateful one really is. Guyao looked up at the ungrateful pair in front of her. Seems to completely cure cousin's heartache. Need to expose to the public Chao Juning and Ruan Yan's identities as scumbag and mistress. Then she looked at her cousin, spoke softly, don't worry, I'll soon let the public know the truth. Clear cousin's name. Little angel Yao finally helped restore Ruan Chu's reputation, but made sister Qingqing Gu Jingqi jealous. Guyao waved to greet all the teachers, pouted and said, won't the eating segment be too boring for fans? Let's play truth or dare. Add some entertainment value. The live stream immediately filled with comments. Is Guyao that brave? Others cheered for the suggestion. I want to watch. I want to watch. Guyao glanced at Ruan Yin nearby. Surely no one has any unspeakable secrets they're afraid to reveal? Ruan Yin suppressed her anger, not daring to act out on live stream. Of course not. It's just a game. What's there to be afraid of? One round ended. Gu Yang won. He started asking Ruan Chu truth questions. Does cousin still like Chao Juning? Ruan Chu was stunned for a few seconds. Guyang wanted her to clarify publicly, but now public opinion sees her as the mistress. Clarifying would be useless. Meanwhile, the live stream comments suddenly increased. What kind of fake sister is Guyang? Embarrassing Ruan Chu like this? Ruan Chu is the mistress and won't even let people say it. Ruan Chu finally gathered her courage and laughed. Who would like a cheating scumbag? Ruan Yin's face turned cold. Sister, you can't slander him just because Juning rejected you. Chao Juning changed the subject. Since the answer is done, let's start the next round. The haters in the live stream jumped out. Ruan Chu is good at playing victim. As expected of a famous mistress, such good psychological quality. These fake sisters should stay away from my couple. Logging off, Guyang was fully confident in making them lower their guard, then having a chance to hypnotize them. However, Guyang won the next round again. She smiled at Chao Juning. Truth or dare? Choose one. Chao Juning didn't hesitate. I choose dare. Although he could lie in truth, to prevent slipping up, better be careful. Guyang twirled the playing card with her fingertips. The complex patterns on the card's back when spinning made people feel dizzy looking at it. Her tone was gentle, making people unconsciously relax. Dare, right? Then open your phone gallery and show us. As soon as she finished speaking, Chao Juning was hypnotized. He smiled gently, said, okay, then unlocked his phone screen and opened the gallery. Guyang took the phone and exclaimed, oh my, Chao Juning, didn't you say Ruan Yin was your first love? As she spoke, she showed the phone gallery to everyone. Then why are there photos of Ruan Chu and Chao Juning together? The live stream viewers exploded after seeing the photos. What's going on? So Ruan Yin is the real mistress? Chao Juning just exposed himself without realizing. Chao Juning was shocked. Ruan Yin couldn't hold back and started hitting him. The director ordered the assistant to shut down the live stream immediately. Viewers started accusing the director. Can't you take it? Look how angry Ruan Yin is. So she really is the mistress. Ruan Yin was furious, shouting at Chao Juning, how could you fall for such an obvious trap? And how long have we been together? You still keep her photos? The director interrupted their argument and demanded compensation for breach of contract. Get out of the show. Ruan Yin was scared and started begging the director for another chance. Seeing this, Ruan Chu only thought, serves them right. Guyang came close. Cousin, look, now they all see those two's true colors. Many people are apologizing to you. Ruan Chu took the phone and saw the internet was full of apologies to her. I knew Ruan Yin and Chao Juning weren't good people. Feel sorry for our Chu Chu, taking the blame for so long. So many people argued with me back then. Now you're slapped in the face. Scumbag and mistress, come apologize. Ruan Chu showed a relieved smile. Thank you this time. Without you, I don't know how long I would have carried this undeserved stigma. Speaking, she suddenly had a realization. Was this why you insisted on bringing me to the variety show? Guyang raised her moon-bright eyes, smiling gently. Cousin finally realized it wasn't easy. The words spoken were a bit lacking. Ruan Chu felt a bit annoyed, maybe infected by Guyang's smile. A warm feeling flowed through her heart. She looked away and said somewhat awkwardly, "Thanks." This success was thanks to Sister's hacker's help, who restored Xiao Jueming's phone gallery. Thinking of this, Guyang quickly took out her phone to call Mr. Su and thank him. "Thanks so much this time. Without your help, it would have been much harder to restore my cousin's reputation." The other person said, "Oh," making Gu Yang's face turn pale. This voice was Gu Jing. Gu Jing lazily snorted. "So you found Su Yi just to help another sister?" However, Su Yi standing nearby was very panicked. The trillion-dollar boss received his sister's hypnotic song and was extremely happy. He even shared it with little blood bank Feng Ju. "This was specially sent to me by Yang Yang." The girl laughed awkwardly. "Sister, did you take his phone because he was slacking off at work? Let me help you teach him a lesson later." Actually, he was crying inside. Why did the boss answer the phone? Was he angry? Su Yi was too careless. Gu Jin narrowed his eyes at Su Yi. Yes, seeing him during work hours, busy restoring a male celebrity's phone gallery. "You found him because you thought I couldn't help?" The last sentence made Gu Yang's alarm bells ring. She quickly said, "How could that be? My rescue story trending so quickly was all thanks to Sister's help. I just didn't want to tire you out. Such a small matter. Let Su Yi handle it." Gu Jin frowned. Seems he didn't know Q was helping him secretly. Need to investigate Q's intentions. But he didn't know. Just then Gu Jin smiled arrogantly. "Now that I've helped you, how do you plan to thank me?" Guyang thought for a while before saying, "Sister is so good to me, I don't know how to thank you. How about this, sister, make a wish? I'll grant whatever you want." Hearing this, Gu Jin was overjoyed. "Since you said so, I'll tell you when I think of something." After speaking, she hung up the phone. Su Yi standing nearby suddenly spoke, "Boss, the little fairy asking for my help means she considers me one of her own. She must want to get closer to us." Gu Jin quickly retorted, "She wants to get closer to me. You're not one of us, just a tool." Su Yi was heartbroken and decided not to continue this hurtful topic with his boss. "Boss, that Xiao family member just returned to the country. Today he competed with you for top fan in the Little Fairy's live stream. Has he discovered your connection with her?" Gu Jin spoke with contempt. "Humph, I'll admit defeat if he can find me. Xiao Iza has been investigating me since last year, but I've led him in circles 6 times. If it weren't for their internal traitor revealing his interest in that thing, Xiao Iza would still be in Africa now. How could he return to the country?" After thinking, he threw the phone to Su Yi. "Even if he has designs on my sister, he doesn't have the ability to make any waves." After handling his work, Gu Jin lay down on the bed to rest his eyes. Since that incident years ago, he had developed severe insomnia, difficulty falling asleep. Though known as a miracle doctor to the outside world, he couldn't treat his own psychological ailments. At this moment, his phone vibrated. Checking his phone, it was a WeChat message from Gu Yang. Just one audio file. Gu Jin's eyes paused briefly, and after opening the audio, the girl's soft, sweet voice came through, accompanied by clear piano notes. Cicada sounds flowed like heavenly music. It was a lullaby. Gu Jin's hand tightened slightly on the phone, his eyes fixed unblinkingly on the screen. The typing status appeared. Guyang directly sent "good night." Gu Jin stared at the screen, lost in thought, his mind churning. After a long while, he replied with just "okay." Thinking he was being aloof, Guyang sent 2 more words, "sweet dreams." He turned off the lights, lay in bed, and put the song on loop. Of course, before sleeping, Gu Jin maliciously shared the audio and screenshots downstairs. "Feng Ju just sent this to me specially," with a red exclamation mark appearing beside it. The message was sent, but rejected by the recipient. In the dark bedroom downstairs, the screen cast a faint light, dimly illuminating the young man's handsome face. His fingers were white from gripping the phone, his eyes fixed intently on the screen, with determination darker than the night. After his mood slightly settled, he opened Gu Yang's WeChat dialog box. The chat was completely empty, never having any conversation before. So little bloodbank Feng Ju picked up his phone to call Gu Yang. He called out "sister" in a sweet, obedient, and slightly wrong tone. Hearing little bloodbank's tone, Gu Yang's heart skipped a beat. What's wrong? Did something happen? Oh no, oh no. The trillion-dollar boss and the puppy-like little brother were both jealous at the same time. Just because little angel Yang Yang went on a variety show and attracted many admirers. Feng Ju's voice was deep and low. "I couldn't sleep because I was thinking of sister. Sister wasn't home today. I couldn't hear your piano. I'm just not used to it. Sister must be tired after a long day. Am I bothering you by talking to you at this hour? The girl's heart skipped a beat. Little Bloodbank meant he missed her so much he couldn't sleep. No, he must have meant he missed her lullaby. Besides, why did she feel the little cool guy seemed older than her? But these words, coming from that gentle, well-behaved young man's mouth, even if they were flirtatious, it was hard to dislike them. Suddenly, for a moment, Guyang understood why many boys liked green tea girls. So she sent the same audio she sent to Gujin to Fengju as well. I recorded this at home earlier. You can listen to it if you can't sleep. Although she recorded it specifically for Gujin, since she couldn't play lullabies for him every day. Gujin's insomnia was so severe that medication was ineffective, requiring hypnosis. That's why she specially recorded the lullaby for Gujin. Guyang thought for a moment and sent Fengju several more audio files. They were other piano pieces she had played. Fengju was overjoyed. Thank you, sister. Sister sings so beautifully. So the next day when Gujin woke up at 6 a.m. sharp, he found that Fengju had unblocked him and shared several audio files. Gujin promptly saved the audio files, then blocked Fengju again. The next day, the variety show livestream started again. Ji Jingshi knew Guyang would be with Wan Shu, but still hopefully invited, "Little fairy, let's be a team." Guyang gladly agreed. "Okay, no problem," Ji Jingshi replied reflexively. After realizing what Guyang had said, his eyes lit up. "What little fairy? You agreed to team up with me?" Wan Shu looked at Guyang in surprise, her eyes reproachful as if looking at a player. Didn't she say she joined the show for him? Guyang seemed to notice Wan Shu's look. She teasingly said, cousin, could it be you can't live without me now?" Wan Shu, as if her thoughts were exposed, looked away. Who can't live without you? Since his depression had worsened, his interactions with the outside world had become increasingly rare. Only Guyang communicated with him the most, to the point where he had become somewhat dependent on her. If Guyang hadn't mentioned it, he wouldn't have realized he really couldn't do without her. He was unwilling to interact with others. Guyang had realized this point, which was why she accepted Ji Jingji's invitation. Instead of continuing to team up with Wan Shu, she wanted to force Wan Shu to take that step forward. The show's competition rules were simple. Each team would put their foraged wild mushrooms in bamboo baskets, bring them back for experts to identify, and the number of non-poisonous mushrooms would determine their score. Finally, Guyang, Wan Shu, and Ji Jingshi found a rare mushroom and won this season's championship. On the way home, Guyang smiled at Wan Shu. "How was it, cousin? Wasn't this show quite interesting?" "It was okay," Wan Shu said quietly, but her lips couldn't help curling up. "Really, thank you this time." That day, grandfather saw the news. He called specially to tell me he had shelved Wan Yin and Chao Junyu. Only then did I know that grandfather had always been standing behind me, silently protecting me. Thank you so much this time, for letting me know so many people love and support me. Guyang wiped Wan Shu's tears. "I just gave cousin a little push. The one who really worked hard was you. You're really amazing." Wan Shu suddenly felt very embarrassed. "You smooth talker. We're at your house now. Aren't you going to get out of the car?" Guyang got out of the car with a grin, not forgetting to add one last thing. "Everything I just said was from the heart. Don't forget, cousin, I support you too." Wan Shu suddenly felt that Guyang was like a beam of light, illuminating her life. Guyang was in a good mood, humming a tune as she walked to the villa entrance. Suddenly she paused. Gu Jin and Fengju were blocking the doorway. Gu Jin's gaze was scattered, his tone sarcastic. Sister finally had enough fun and decided to come back. Fengju stood beside him, dejected, calling out, "Sister," pitifully. "You're finally back." Guyang was startled by this scene, feeling somehow guilty. The wealthy young lady gave dear sister luxury perfume, while your puppy brother only got this set of practice problems. That instantly made him unhappy. Guyang smiled awkwardly. "I rarely go to Liangcheng. I came back late because I was picking gifts for you." She handed Gu Jin an exquisite small box. Liangcheng is known for flowers, with many floral ingredients. "This is a perfume I thought was quite good. It's quite calming." Gu Jin took it and opened the box, took out the perfume, and sprayed some on his wrist. Then he sniffed it, an unfamiliar fresh scent wafting up. His eyes darkened slightly, muttering, "You didn't blend it yourself?" Guyang was puzzled. "Of course I didn't blend it. It's a new product from Liang Chenxuanmeng's house. Why would Gu Jin ask that? Although she did no perfume blending, the original body hadn't touched perfume blending, but before transmigrating, her mother's business was mainly in fashion. As the only heir to both parents, she had dabbled in fashion, jewelry design, and perfume blending. Sister doesn't like this perfume? Gu Yang prided herself on reading micro-expressions, but had to admit, the female lead psychology wasn't so easy to see through. Gu Jin shook his head. No, I was just asking. Feng Ju stood aside, eyes lowered. Sister, what about me? At this moment, a pair of slender white hands appeared before his eyes, and the girl's gentle voice came, "A Jew, this is for you." Feng Ju looked up, his eyes seeming to shimmer with light, clearly delighted. He looked both obedient and pitiful, like a stray dog found by its owner. Thank you, sister. His voice was soft. Gu Yang couldn't help patting his head. Little cool guy looks so well behaved. No need to thank me. Once you finish Unit 53, you can start on this set of practice problems. Gu Yang smiled brightly, warm like a little sun. Feng Ju followed her arm down with his gaze, and when he saw the practice problems, he fell silent. Gu Jin glanced at him, saw the thick practice book in his hands, and laughed unkindly. Gu Jin contentedly put the perfume in his pocket and headed to his room. But then Feng Ju's voice came from behind, the underground route in southern M province. I'll trade it for your perfume. Gu Jin stopped, turned around at the doorway, looking lazily at the seemingly harmless youth. He chuckled. You hide it well. No wonder I couldn't find anything after searching for so long. That underground route, it's controlled by the sailors. Gu Jin played with the crystal purple perfume bottle, raising an eyebrow. With a slight smile, a $2 billion route in exchange for a perfume worth a few 10,000s. Sounds like a decent deal. But unfortunately, I already have a way to get that route. I'm not interested in making this deal. However, if you're willing to trade that half bottle of Wu Yang, then we have a deal. Feng Ju laughed. Keep dreaming. Then there's nothing more to discuss. Gu Jin dropped these words and went straight back to his room. The cicadas chirped in midsummer. The sky outside was as clear as a stream. Slender white hands danced across the black and white piano keys. The piano sound was bright and clear, like dancing spots of light through dense summer foliage. A phone was set up beside the piano, live streaming. The stream only showed a pair of fair, slender hands playing the piano, with comments scrolling continuously beside the image. Today's live stream ends here. Thank you everyone for your attention and tips. Gu Yang put away the streaming equipment. Being idle at home these days, she remembered. The original streaming account on Grape app. As the Gu family's daughter, the original had monthly allowances of millions. She didn't stream for money, but rather for the vanity of being praised by fans when showing off. As for Gu Yang, the reason for streaming was simple, to make money. As for perfume blending and jewelry design, those were money-burning hobbies she dared not touch without funds. There was a knock on the piano room door. Gu Yang came back to reality and opened it. She saw Feng Ju, a youth a head taller than her. His skin was fair, so much that you could almost see the faint blue veins up close. He had a subtle fragrance, like some high-end perfume. The scent was calming to the mind. For some reason, Gu Yang felt an inexplicable familiarity with this fragrance. You're wearing perfume? Gu Yang looked up with bright eyes, somewhat surprised at Feng Ju. Feng Ju nodded slightly. Looking down at Gu Yang, light from the piano room window reflected in his eyes. His voice was soft. Does sister like it? The scent was quite faint. Even with Gu Yang's sensitive nose, she couldn't smell it clearly. She stepped a bit closer, almost touching his chest, then stopped. Her nose twitched as she evaluated seriously. It smells really nice. Very comfortable. Whoever blended this must be a perfume genius. What's this perfume called? Feng Ju's gaze lingered on Gu Yang's delicate face, seeming to look at her, yet also through her. He recalled, it's called Wu Yang. Gu Yang fell silent, feeling something strike her heart. Little sister acts cute, big sister's soul will float away. Being alone is too lonely. Want sister to keep you company? Gu Yang felt something strike her heart again. She asked almost urgently which master had blended it. Feng Ju said softly, not any master. It was given by an old friend with extraordinary talent in perfume blending. It's very important to me. Gu Yang swallowed back her almost spoken, can I buy it? Since it was a gift from an old friend and important to Feng Ju, it naturally couldn't be bought and sold. Just then, a maid came to report. Miss, Madam wants to speak with you about something. Gu Yang gestured to Feng Ju before turning to leave. Feng Ju watched her back. As she walked away step by step, the light in his eyes seemed to drain away. Finally, darkness remained, he muttered. But I think the name Wu Yang isn't good. Not good at all. Downstairs, Ruan Shuling was drinking coffee. Zhang Yaji's invitation card was placed on the coffee table. Gu Jin was leaning on the sofa playing games, looking lazy. Seeing Gu Yang coming downstairs, Ruan Shuling put down her coffee cup and tapped the invitation on the table. This is an invitation to the Tang family dinner. The Tang family's patriarch was discharged from hospital today. The Tang family specially arranged a dinner to celebrate, inviting close acquaintances and friends from their circle. Gu Yang's eyes lit up. She knew about this. The plot was coming. In the novel, the male and female leads had met in disguise at this banquet. Ruan Shuling had blamed Gu Jin for not bringing him, but he came anyway, so she scolded him on the spot. But the Tang patriarch intervened and honored him as a distinguished guest. Finally, Gu Jin was invited by the mysterious male lead from Beijing, drawing all the female supporting characters' hatred. When Gu Yang had read these face-slapping scenes before, she had found them extremely satisfying. But now that this face-slapping would happen to herself and her side, her feelings were quite complicated. Ruan Shuling held Gu Yang's hand. I heard the Tang family invited the miracle doctor who treated their patriarch. I specially arranged for an invitation, hoping they could introduce the doctor to treat your illness. Gu Yang's expression darkened as she glanced at Gu Jin. She couldn't exactly say that the miracle doctor you're looking for is right in front of you and will be severely humiliated by you. But this was Gu Jin's goodwill. At worst, she could try to prevent it. She couldn't let Gu Jin down. Just as Gu Yang was about to suggest bringing Gu Jin along, Ruan Shuling spoke first. Gu Jin, you're antisocial anyway, and you don't like socializing. Don't go tonight. You wouldn't be able to handle that kind of occasion. Gu Jin put down her phone, still looking lazy, and responded with a casual, oh. Gu Yang became anxious and immediately said, Sister must go. Sister is the true Gu family daughter. If she shouldn't attend the banquet, then I, who took her place, have even less right to go. Ruan Shuling glared at Gu Jin. If you want to go, that's fine. Just behave yourself. Don't wander around at the Tang residence. As long as Gu Jin nodded, she would follow along. But Gu Jin raised her eyebrow. I don't want to go. I have the Tang Patriarch's VIP invitation which I already declined. Going now would be like slapping my own face. Wouldn't that be embarrassing? Ruan Shuling was very angry and was about to burst into a tirade. Gu Yang grabbed her sister's wrist, softly asking her sister, You really won't go? Gu Jin wanted to refuse, but the girl activated her pitiful green tea skills, looking at her with puppy eyes. But I want sister to come with us. Without sister, I'll be so lonely. Ruan Shuling wanted to say, Mother will accompany you, but Gu Yang sighed and said, Mom will surely be with the other ladies. I can't always stay by your side. I need to socialize with people my age too. Gu Jin's eyes flickered, looking at the pitiful Gu Yang who was blinking at her. While hiding her slightly smiling lips, she thought such good acting skills were wasted not being recruited by Zhaofeng Entertainment. Even knowing it was an act, Gu Jin couldn't bear to refuse. Fine. Gu Yang's eyes widened, and she hugged Gu Jin with apparent joy. Sister agreed. Ruan Shuling sighed, then stood up. Since we're going, let's hurry and go shopping for clothes and jewelry. Don't embarrass the Gu family. Gu Jin lightly said, Oh. Ruan Shuling's expression was full of impatience. All day long you just say, oh, can't you say something else? Gu Jin nodded and said, Ruan Shuling was speechless. Gu Yang looked troubled, thinking, well, she just changed one word. The secret billionaire boss actually wore a white fairy dress, looking absolutely stunning. Her dear sister kept praising, Sister looks so beautiful. You should wear dresses more often. At a high-end mall in the city center, Gu Jin glanced at the mall sign and quickly looked away. Gu Yang noticed Gu Jin's expression and also looked up at the Jingshang logo. She confirmed it. This was one of her boss sister's chain malls. Ruan Shuling started asking Gu Yang what was wrong, if she didn't like this place. Gu Yang quickly shook her head. No, I just didn't expect Mom to bring us to such a luxurious place. I'm a bit surprised. Gu Jin suddenly interjected. Oh, did you remember some secret about this place? Like, the never-seen controlling shareholder behind this shopping street? Gu Yang broke into a cold sweat. Sister's joking. This is my first time here. How would I know these things? Gu Jin looked unconvinced. Is that so? Gu Yang felt like the boss had seen through her, but Gu Jin didn't pursue the matter. And the boss seemed to be in a good mood, so it should be fine. As she was thinking, Gu Jin spoke softly. Why are you staring at me? What? Gu Yang quickly responded, nothing, just thinking sister looks so pretty when she smiles. Smooth talker. Gu Jin dropped these 4 words and walked straight into the mall. Gu Yang chased after her. Sister, wait for me. Let me help you choose clothes. They soon arrived at a branded clothing store. Ruan Shuling went on a shopping spree. Whatever she thought looked good, she bought for both Gu Jin and Gu Yang. The two of them, like the shopping bags on Ruan Shuling's arm, were dragged back and forth. Women's purchasing power was truly terrifying. Gu Jin was happily calculating. Up until now, in the luxury section of Jingshang Mall, Ruan Shuling had already spent over 30 million yuan. Half of the luxury items were bought for her, which meant she basically got over 10 million yuan for free. This was definitely a win. Gu Jin now found Ruan Shuling slightly more pleasing to the eye. However, at this moment, Ruan Shuling took a 500,000 yuan light blue fairy dress and walked up to her. She looked disapprovingly at the black clothes without brand logos that she was wearing, though the style, fabric, and workmanship weren't bad. You're so young. Don't dress so gloomily all the time, looking like a black widow. Your skin is already so fair, yet you wear black. It makes you look deathly pale. Go change into this. Girls should look fresh and cute. Gu Jin looked at the baby blue fairy dress as if facing a great enemy. Her usually calm face showed an expression that even Ruan Shuling could understand. Ugly. Gu Yang secretly smiled inside. Then she held her sister's arm. I think mom has a point. Sister could try different styles. Just as Gu Jin was about to refuse, Gu Yang looked at her pitifully. Sister, just try it on. I want to see sister wearing the same clothes as me. Gu Jin reluctantly agreed. Just this once. She went to the fitting room and took a deep breath. She was quite poor lately. Considering how much Ruan Shuling had spent at her store, she could force herself to wear it. Besides, this dress and Gu Yang's were from the same sister collection. Anyway, Ji Lingbai and Su Yi wouldn't show up here. Gu Jin's current mood was like a boy trying on women's clothes for the first time. From awkwardness to curiosity, from novelty to calm acceptance. Just then, Gu Yang walked over and was stunned seeing her sister in the dress. The boss, who always wore only black and white, was actually wearing a light blue fairy dress. She looked absolutely beautiful. Just as Gu Jin was about to say something, her whole body tensed up. She saw 2 familiar figures outside the store. Her expression instantly froze. It seemed to be Ji Lingbai and Su Yi at the door, watching this scene. They all wore extremely shocked expressions. Gu Jin's face immediately turned red with embarrassment. Oh no, oh no. The billionaire boss is angry, just because someone slandered her dear sister. Gu Yang was startled. The boss always maintained a cold image in front of subordinates and strongly resisted wearing this style. Now, not only had she been persuaded to wear it reluctantly, but her subordinates had seen it. She was surely doomed. Su Yi froze. I didn't expect we'd see this while inspecting for the boss. Ji Lingbai told him to keep his voice down. If the boss discovers we saw her like this, we'll be silenced forever. As they spoke, Gu Jin looked over with a dark face. Su Yi was startled. Seems we've been discovered. Run. Gu Yang noticed her sister's worsening expression and quickly made an excuse to look elsewhere. However, Gu Jin stopped her. Then, adjusting her mindset and suppressing her anger, she slowly spoke. Let's talk. Gu Yang immediately sensed danger. Looking at the two behind her, her eyes lit up with an idea. She urgently snuggled into her sister's arms, pointing at the two peeking at the door. Sister, they're peeking at the door. They must like sister's outfit. Why not invite them in to try some on? Gu Jin smiled approvingly. She let it slide this time. Then she said mischievously to the two, didn't you hear what my sister just said? Come in and try some on. Just then, Ruan Shuling handed another dress to Gu Jin. If you don't like it, change it. Don't look so gloomy. You're so hard to please. Try this one. Seeing this, Gu Yang smiled sweetly. Although they weren't used to it yet, expressing and accepting each other's love, at least they were making progress. At 8 p.m., Gu Yang and others arrived at the Tang family banquet hall. As soon as they entered, they were stopped by a fashionably dressed girl who came running towards them. How did that country bumpkin Yang Yang get here too? Did he bully you? Gu Yang panicked. How could he forget that the original character's friends would be here, still stirring up hatred? They were all going to be humiliated. The blonde girl spoke with contempt. Just wait. We'll teach him a lesson later and help you get revenge. Gu Yang knew this was the prelude to cannon fodder courting death, first by attacking the female lead Gu Jin. Then they would all go humiliate and provoke him, followed by getting slapped in the face. He felt he needed to stop this, so in a gentle voice, matching the soft music playing in the banquet hall, he activated hypnosis. Sister is very good to me. She absolutely hasn't bullied me. She's very important to me. Don't misunderstand her, and don't bully her. Got it? The blonde girl nodded instinctively. Only then did Gu Yang feel relieved. But just to be safe, he'd better follow her. Suddenly, Lin Ran saw Gu Yang surrounded by admirers. Young Master Xiao, look, that sister who saved people last time is here too. But Xiao Iza coldly warned, don't keep staring at her later. Lin Ran gazed longingly in Gu Yang's direction. Are we really not going to try to recruit her? Xiao Iza said disdainfully. Her hypnosis skills are indeed impressive, but don't forget what we came here for. Lin Ran had heard this so many times his ears were calloused. I know. I'll watch the VIP area carefully. We must find the divine doctor this time. Gu Jin was like a luminous body in the banquet hall, noble and cold in a black evening gown. Cold and beautiful, very eye-catching. At this moment, Gu Jin was stopped by a girl. This is the VIP area. Everyone seated here is my grandfather's honored guest. Where did a country bumpkin like you come from, being so ignorant of the rules? Gu Yang didn't think about helping Gu Jin. Small fry like this, even a dozen wouldn't be enough for his boss sister to warm up. Gu Jin noticed her sister's gaze, so she decided to end it quickly, taking out an invitation card. I was invited by your grandfather. Is this how the Tang family treats their guests? Tang Xia hesitated. How could someone like you have an invitation card? Whispers came from behind. So she really is old Master Tang's honored guest. The Tang family's daughter is being unreasonable. How ill-mannered. Hearing this, Tang Xia gritted her teeth. Everyone knows your family couldn't even get their daughter right, letting an imposter take over for so many years. Even your precious daughter is fake. How can you prove the invitation is real? When Gu Jin heard her insulting her sister, she disregarded her own image. Angrily demanded, what did you say about my sister?